Good to see you, Danny Jones. You're in your lair now. I love this shit.
Yeah, man. It's good to have you back.
It's
been about 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years since I was on here, and then we did the Fed Fest a couple times. Yeah. But I haven't seen you like we talk every day, but I haven't seen you in the flesh for the last 2.5 years plus.
Yeah, we do podcasts pretty much every fucking week over the phone, but now it's nice to be in person, bro.
I know.
And we're going to get you and Joey D, turning you guys into Florida men. We're going to get you guys some vitamin D, get you guys a little tan before we send you back up to New Jersey.
Bro, I'm telling you, last year, and he had the same thing happen. From September to October, we went down about 12 shades of tint. like we were tan as fuck. And then overnight, it was like we went into fucking Norway with Jon Snow. Like it was just done. But, you know, it's nice getting a little vitamin D. We've been whacked this whole winter, man. Snow, 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 snow. It's crazy.
Bro, I haven't seen snow since I was like 8 years old.
Well, I can show you some. But you've been killing it, man. I mean, I know we always talk about this on the phone, but like to be here in the pyramid that was supposed to be a cathedral, but I like that people are calling it a pyramid.
It's a mixture between a pyramid, a cathedral, and that room in the movie Dune.
Yes. There's only one disappointing part of this whole place.
What is it?
Yeah, you know.
Well, the fake stone?
The fake stone.
Well, what are we going to
I thought it was real. I thought
Did you really think it was real?
You know,
well, then we did our job.
Place in Egypt
then
is.
The set designer did his job. He made Julian Dorey think it's real.
Yeah, it would. But it's like, you know, it's like a little.
It's like we're in a real medieval cathedral right now, and we got Lord Farquaad on the show.
Thank you. Give it 2 more months. It's got to grow back
Farquaad.
The Jersey Farquaad. I'll take it.
I love the hair, bro. That's a new look for you.
Yeah, I took a little too much off like 2 months ago. It needs another 2 months to grow. So
you're growing it longer?
Yeah, because it's all fucking cut up here. So
my
it looks
favorite look of all time that you've ever had was in the beginning of your show when you had it coming out the back of the hat.
Yeah, it was down to here.
You had it coming down the back, bro.
It was literally down to
That was legit. It was like it was like kind of a Kid Rock look, like a Burnett. You're like a Burnett Kid Rock.
Burnett Kid Rock.
But with you didn't have the same hat. You had the Phillies hat. He didn't wear a Phillies hat.
He did not wear a Phillies hat.
No. You were on fire back then, and you're still on fire.
I'm trying, man. It's, I mean, you know what it is. You just got to keep fucking pumping every single week. It's like you put one out, and you're on to the next one.
Yeah.
But it's a fun job.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot different. A lot different doing so many podcasts. You know, it's like you don't, especially, I mean, you're doing like 3 a week. I'm only doing like 2 a week, but still, it's just rinse, the whole rinse and repeat aspect of it, of just fucking showing up and trying to stay in the zone and have conversations with people. It's like, it's the only thing that keeps me sane. It's like, it keeps me accountable, because I have to be accountable to the people that are coming on the show. I was like, I got to show up here and I got to be somewhat awake.
You got the star waking you up all night back at home. That's the problem.
I got a full 40 minutes of sleep last night, bro.
40 minutes.
A full 40.
Well, you got this 0 caffeine, whatever, to not help you out, apparently.
Yeah, no. My wife made me a beautiful espresso and orange juice.
There you go.
To keep me alive.
Espresso and orange juice. That's pretty
Dude,
cool.
it's the move. I'm telling you.
Look at how look at the filtration of that too. Like the pH
isn't
levels
it cool?
Get it down low and then high.
If you leave the espresso, if you pour the espresso early when it's still cold, and then you dump the orange juice in, and then put the espresso on top, it leaves that little line there. It makes it look fun.
Yeah. Very cool. So the middle kid's been waking you up every fucking night all night?
Yeah, no, we put him to bed and he's back in our bed. We put him to bed at 8. He's back in our bedroom at 9:30, maybe 10 at the earliest. And then we put him back in his bed. He'll be back in our bed at midnight.
Listen, he's a star. He's high maintenance.
Every 2 hours, bro.
He's high maintenance. It's okay.
He is. Both the other kids sleep like angels. It's just a star. But yeah,
that's my retirement plan.
Yeah.
When he's 18.
Yeah, I'm lucky I got my wife
taking him out and he's becoming a great actor. That's what we're doing. I'll be his agent. This kid, if you have not seen his middle kid, he's got the dome up there. It's like the 10th planet.
He's growing into it.
Yeah. I mean, he's growing
and he's
got main character syndrome.
He's got issues, bro. He's got issues. I mean, every middle child has issues. You don't know. You're an only child. You don't know.
No, but I have heard that a ton.
Yeah. The middle kids are the ones that get the least amount of attention because the first ones are like, they get so much attention. They're the real star is the first child. And the second one, it's like, okay, we've already fucking done this dance before. Then the last child is like, oh my God, it's our last baby. We got to coddle this one. You know, she's going to be, we got to cherish the moment. And the middle child gets fucking left out, and that's him. Yeah. So he's experiencing the trauma of that. And
that's going to be useful later.
That trauma?
Yes.
In Hollywood?
Yes.
There's not going to be no Hollywood when he grows up, bro. When he grows up, it's just going to be fucking AI hell. Everything's going to be fuck dolls everywhere and AI everywhere and social media, bro. The social media we know today is going to be like a forgotten thing. Yeah. We're going to be tapped in with our minds.
Jokes aside, you're right, man. I don't know what it's going to look like, but it's going to be very, very different.
We're not even going to be able to think our own thoughts anymore, bro. It's just going to be, we wake up and then we're going to have just fucking news headlines piped into our heads on a subscription model. Something. It's gonna be crazy.
Like a Neuralink just pounding it right here.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's just I can't imagine it's gonna be good.
Well, I think now's the moment where people are more aware of that potential type dystopia thing in the future than they ever would have been in the past. You know what I mean? Like, and it's the time right now to shine a light on the people who want that. And I mean the bad people in charge, the people we've seen in that Epstein class, the people that are in charge of the technocracies and all that. And I do feel like this can be a real fulcrum point rather than like this giant, holy shit, everything's fucked, which it's easy to feel that way. I certainly feel that way sometimes looking at this, especially since no one's in prison for things like the Epstein stuff. But like, you know, these people used to be able to do all this stuff strictly behind closed doors. Now, you know, you got citizen journalists harassing them outside places, as they should, you know, appropriately. Don't punch them or anything. Don't give them what they want. But, you know, certainly ask these people what the fuck they're doing. Why are you trying to take technology and invade our privacy? Why are you using the politicians that you buy to legislate in things very quietly in the middle of a bunch of other legislature that's going to lead to that potential fucking future where you're waking up and you're chipped in the head, like you're saying?
Yeah. I feel like the more headlines I read and the more Twitter I scroll, I just feel like the more my brain is fucked.
Yeah.
All the news and all the headlines, and it's all about another fucking country, some shit that we're so disconnected from. Like, are we supposed to give a fuck about that? Are we supposed to give a flying fuck about some like religious extremists fighting with some private industrial, like war companies that make missiles and people that are getting paid to do all, like, it's too much, bro. Yeah. We're not supposed to pay attention to this kind of shit. It's not healthy, bro.
You liked.
It's not healthy. I don't think it's fucking healthy. I just don't. At least not for me.
When people make it the entire meaning of their lives and, you know, they do a job that's completely separate from that, I think that's unhealthy. But I think some of the awareness, even if it's like a whip-em-a-roll here to where people went from living in a society where you weren't aware of any of this stuff to now like, holy shit, I can't take my eyes off it because I can see it all the time. Like, that's not healthy, but if you can kind of pull it back to a place where you know what's going on, you know what you're voting for, and your vote probably doesn't even really matter that much, but you at least know what's going in there and how things are affected around the world, and more of the average person understands that maybe the future will be slightly different. Maybe you move that, you know, estuary possibility that could go this way or that way, and you just slightly move it off this way instead of the bad way. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're fucking podcasters. What are we going to do about it?
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I was listening to this thing this morning. I was sitting in the sauna and I was listening to this LeBron James meditation app thing. And he was talking about, remember when they were playing the fucking, he was on the Cavs, 2015. They were on their way to the finals. I think it was the second round. They were playing the Bulls. And I think it was game 4. And they were down 2-1, and LeBron, I don't know, did you watch that series?
I remember all those years. I'm trying to remember this series, though. I can't place it.
So
and this is after
was,
D Rose, long after he blew out his knee.
Yeah.
So Jimmy Butler's the guy now.
Jimmy Butler's the guy.
Yeah.
And they were down 2-1, and it was game 4. If they would have lost this game, they would have been down 3-1. And there was like 5 seconds on the clock or whatever, and Deladova was passing it in from out of bounds, and LeBron did that thing where he fucking sprints across the court, tries to lose Jimmy Butler because Jimmy Butler's on him, and he fucking catches the ball, and he's sprinting down that little gap between out of bounds and the 3-point line, you know, where the bench is. He's like sprinting down there, and he's like right inside the 3-point line, and he just fucking jumps up and throws it like that. And it goes in.
I feel like I was there.
Dude, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was, because that, like, and they won it by 1 fucking point. And that was when they came, that was the same year that they beat the Golden State Warriors when they were down 3-1.
So that
and
would, you're talking about 2016 then?
That was, no, I want to say it was
20, they won in 2016 for sure. I know that. Golden State won their first one in
that
2015.
That was 20.
Golden State won in the 2014-2015 season. They beat the Cavs 4-2.
They did. I think this was the 2015, so they may have lost to the Golden State that year.
Yeah.
But like, I get the point I was getting at, like, was it like that time at that point in history, I was not paying attention to anything but fucking sports and NBA and only the shit in my life. And that's the point I think I was probably the fucking happiest. I mean, kids aside, my kids make me happier than anything, but like at that point in my life when I was tuned out to everything. It was just fucking watching basketball, like doing my own thing, having fun with my friends, surfing, skating. And like, it wasn't until after that I got woken up to all this crazy shit.
Well, the pandemic happened, and that changed the world.
A couple years after that,
it changed the world in every way for all the things that came after it that technically, I guess, had nothing to do with the pandemic, but really everything kind of has to do with that. And I think there is something to be said for that.
Yeah.
The other end of it is like,
I'd be reminiscing. I was
right?
like, man, I miss that part of my life.
But that's what I'm saying. Like one end of it is like, all right, well, is that just bread and circus, and we're not supposed to pay attention to anything? The other end of it is like, is that healthy? I think it's healthy. I love sports. I think it should be amazing to be able to escape from something. I can't stand when you go on Twitter and a fucking sports game's on, and you got all these retards on there commenting about whether or not someone did something that they liked or wear an end racism fucking tag on their jersey. I don't give a fuck. I'm here to watch thumpity thumpty thump boom. I don't want to think about it. I'm with you. But at the same time, you know, we're at that moment in the fourth turning where there's just a lot of shit hitting the fan. And it does suck. But I think like the perspective for someone like you, like looking at it in your seat, like you got the great things in life figured out. You got the family. You got the kids. You're happy. Great marriage. Good house. Bills paid. You've made your own way. Completely self-created from the beginning. Being a great filmmaker and documentarian. Eventually also becoming a great podcaster and building that. You built this from the ground up. Like, that's a pretty fucking amazing thing. And
a little bit of money from Israel helped.
A little bit of money from Israel. Yeah. You got your $7,000 check every week. But still, you know, that's not that much.
Keeps the lights on, you know.
It keeps the lights on. But like now, there's times where in the course of your job, like, you know, it's kind of like that Tommy G quote I always say where you can't boil the ocean, but you boil your pot. Like there's a part of it where you're boiling your pot a little bit, where you're covering things that really fucking matter. And you're not going to be perfect, but you try to do the best job so that people out there can decide for themselves. I mean, I think that's a pretty cool thing. If there's one part about the job that can get somewhat serious sometimes, like sometimes it's those really, really big stories like that. And there's a lot of us in the industry who cover it. But I think if you're getting totally wrapped up in it and you're just waking up every morning and thinking about who the fucking president of the United States is and whether or not you love that or hate that, you should probably prioritize your life a little more.
If you enjoy watching our show on Spotify or YouTube and you want to be more involved, I encourage you to please come check out our Patreon community. Not only does our Patreon community get every episode you see on YouTube early, fully uncensored, and ad-free, but we're also doing Patreon exclusive episodes as well as live Q&As, and you can get your personal questions answered by our guests every single week. For me, being able to collaborate and communicate back and forth with our Patreon community every week has been huge. And this is my way of saying thank you for the cost of a cup of coffee a month. Now back to the show.
There's a guy online. I forget his fucking name, but I clocked it maybe like 3 years ago, I want to say. And basically, like, his thing is he's an ex-conspiracy theorist. Now, he went hard the other way, meaning he believes anything now that, like, the government will tell him, and everything that's ever happened is not a conspiracy, which, to be clear, I completely disagree with him in that way. The reason I clocked it and started tracking it to see what it was is because I think it's an interesting pattern in that there are a lot of people over the last, in different tranches, if you will, different things push different people down the lens of, like, really looking into things. But over the past 5, 10, 15 years, as the internet really, really grew and became the thing, there are all these people who suddenly really got completely wired up to where the whole meaning of their life was every fucking crisis that was happening that, like, the Illuminati was personally taking care of and doing their thing on. And while on some of those cases, I mean, it's clear, we can see these Epstein emails, like, they're right, to be very clear. What's going to end up happening, I think, with some people, and this is what I saw with this guy, why I'm bringing him up, is that they're going to get 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, they're going to be stuck in the same job or a worse job. They're going to hate their wife more than they did 10 years ago if they have one. They're going to be fucking miserable because they're worried about things that aren't, like, the happiness source of their life so much that they have no control over at the end of the day. And they're going to be like, I got to check out from this shit. So I think, like, at a moment like this, especially where there are so many things that are being proven true that are objectively horrific in every way, we also got to be careful to not just, fucking fire Elmo meme it and just be like, everything's doomsday. I need to worry about every single thing that Benjamin Netanyahu said since 7 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
And if I don't, my day's fucked. Like, yeah. You can't totally be like that. Like, we are in an industry where we cover that more. Like, it's a little bit of our job to know a little bit more.
Right,
but, even with us, like, I'll speak for us, like, you gotta check out.
I'm fucking sick of it, dude.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of it. I wake up, I look on Twitter, and I see some post about Trump and the Iran war, and I want to throw up. I want to talk about, I want to just make dick jokes for 3 hours instead.
Go back to the Ben Mala fucking
yeah, dude. I want to go back
the Barstool days.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to grab a video camera and go videotape some bums behind Circle K, or go fucking, maybe I'll go work with Tommy G and go make some documentaries.
Yes.
I'll be his fucking cameraman or something.
Yes, I need to see that. I need that in my life. Hello, folks, I'm Tommy G, and today I got Danny Jones with me.
Tommy, dude, that guy's incredible.
He's
man.
awesome, dude. Greatest guy ever, too. But, like, Tommy G's personally branded. Like, he's a one of one.
He is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he gets genuinely so fucking excited. Like, you can feel the blood rushing through his veins for every story he does. And he does all this different shit now, right? And one day he could be, like, covering whether or not AIPAC's paying off fucking Chuck Schumer. And the next day he's in the middle of the hood selling guns to crack dealers.
Yeah.
Like, it's the greatest, like, range of content.
Who were those
ever.
dudes that you had? You had Tommy G on your show with these two guys wearing, like, ski masks, right?
Oh no, Tommy wasn't on that one.
Oh, okay.
But it was.
He knew those dudes? He did a documentary with them or something?
Yeah, it was 5 guys wearing ski masks. They were the swim team from New York, the most wanted drivers. So Squeeze Benz, who was not on the swim team, he was his own separate thing. He was not there. But
they called themselves the swim team.
The swim team. Yeah, no. When I first met Tommy, it was when he was in town filming the first part of that back in, we hit it off right away. Just great fucking guy. But March 2024, he came through, did my podcast, and then went and filmed with them. And then it was the most viral documentary he ever made. But these guys basically, I don't know if you can pull it up, Steven, but, they're not drag racers. They just do it for the love of the game. You know how, like, Dick Cheney bombed the Middle East for the love of the game?
Yeah.
These guys drive between 120 and 160, 170 through New York City and do wheelies and shit for the love of the game.
Around pedestrians and innocent people.
Yeah, and that's why, listen, to be very clear, I do not condone it at all. Like, and we had a very frank discussion. I did episode 248 with them, and it was, I appreciated their honesty, and, like, they're really off camera, like, they were great guys. I got along with them really, really well. And a lot of them don't even really have a ton of vices. They just do this. But I'm like, what happens? Obviously, like, they're very talented drivers if I'm talking objectively. Okay, fine. But what happens the day you cut over 2 roads and you hit a kid in a stroller.
Right.
You think I'm going to fucking defend you?
it's
Get the fuck
fucking
out of
insane,
here.
dude.
It's insane. It's
How old are
absolutely
these
insane.
How old are these kids?
I can't say because they're
Okay.
That's classified.
Where's
But
the footage? Oh, there we go. Oh, no, this is an animation.
that's an animation, but here's Tommy in the car with them. So some of the guys in the car right now, 2 of them were 2 of the guys in the studio with me, and they're all undercover, and we had to change.
Can you give us some audio, Steve?
We had to change their voices, obviously. So the whole episode, they're like,
That makes it cooler.
but it was that was one of my most memorable recordings because they're talking like this, but I don't hear them like this because I have to do that post edit after.
Yeah, right.
Hardest
right.
audio post edit I ever did in my life. Holy shit! I wanted to kill a small animal by the end of it. Fucking 32 hours to do it because I had to get them all on one audio track.
Yeah.
So I had to go cut every time someone went to say something different, and I had to cut my voice differently so I wasn't talking like that. Oh my God, it was fucking brutal. But we recorded at like 11:30.
This isn't that crazy.
That part right there wasn't. But
Oh yeah, what about some
when
innocent
they
woman?
when they really pick it up, like I don't know.
I
if
love
you-
how he added this B-roll of kids playing soccer.
I don't know if you saw. Well, this is. Oh, you know what? Because this isn't the original documentary. This is an interview with them. So if you go to Tommy G's channel and just type in New York's most wanted drivers, there's one with 13 or 14 million views. It's his biggest view. You just go to popular videos and it'll come up and you'll see more of them driving. But like
Hit popular, Steve. There you go.
that one right there. So this came out like almost exactly 2 years ago. But you see at the beginning, like he's driving with squeeze bends right there.
Give it some. You got any audio on there, Steve? Oh, Tommy G ain't gonna copyright us, will he?
But I can talk to him. It'll be all right. But basically, that was a memorable recording, like I was saying, because we recorded for like 2 hours, 10 minutes. And it's me, at the time Alessi was still in the studio with me, not Deef. And I got 5 guys in glasses and ski masks. So when I'm talking or like cracking a joke or something, I can't tell if they're laughing or glaring at me.
Right, that's weird.
And I'm like looking around, and you just see like them move like this. I'm like, was that a laugh or is he about to knock me the fuck out? But and then like it's just wild because you got to get them undercover and everything. It's like kind of like this secretive recording,
Right.
and then downstairs it's a Saturday night, and all the fucking bars are popping, and people have no idea what's happening upstairs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd highly recommend this. He did a second part, put it out in June 2025, like kind of an update.
When's he gonna start going on the fucking front lines of wars and shit, dude?
He wants to.
I bet he does.
Oh, he's nuts. Tommy's got a screw loose. I mean that in a good way.
I'm here, and I'm here in Tehran.
My boy Arab was in Tehran right before they attacked.
Really?
Yeah,
Who's that?
yeah. It's at Arab on
Arab. Okay.
on.
What's
YouTube.
he do?
He's another one like Tommy G. He goes around the world and gets stories. He's the one that was kidnapped in Haiti for like 3 weeks, and they tried to have a ransom, and he like live streamed the whole thing.
Oh, I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah. No, Arab's an interesting guy. But he I think he first like blew up when he was going down. Yeah, when he was going down to the favelas in Brazil. But I don't know if we can see it, Steve. If it's a recent video, it should be very recent. Inside Tehran during the war. Like I think he was there like in the week leading up to the war.
When was the published date? Go down?
Well, the war broke out the
1 month ago.
27th. So let's hit more there,
Holy
Steve.
shit. See, bro, this is what I always talk
Yeah,
about.
this is before. Yeah.
This is what I always fucking go back to. Is like people like you and people like me and everybody else on the internet that do all these podcasts. We don't know jack shit.
Yeah.
We don't. You don't know fuck all. I don't know fuck all
right.
about nothing. All we do is read and listen to people talk.
That's right.
These are the only people that know what's actually happening. And unless you can take a video camera and go show it and talk to people and do all that stuff, you really have, I mean, even only then, just watching the video, you're going to get a lot of it, but you're still not going to get everything. And when you just distill it down to fucking text and words on a microphone, you're getting like a fucking thin ass layer of reality, bro.
100%. And but I also think that's like my favorite part about the job, because we get to have people come in from across the world, and obviously you got to make it like we got to make a judgment in this chair, and everyone else out there has to make their own judgment listening to it as to who seems more credible or comes with more evidence and facts and whatever based on things. But these people from around the world doing everything from fun stuff to like very serious stuff, even when they're having fun with it.
Smoking a cigarette.
I don't know that that's a cigarette. That might not be a cigarette.
No, he pulled it out of a pack of cigarettes. It might be a joint.
Right. But either way, like, you know, we're trying to hear about, we get pieces of the world coming into our studio, mine in fucking good old Jersey and yours right here in good old Florida, and we get to hear first person, like what they're finding and what's going on, and ask questions. And so I do think we have a chance to get more informed through that. But you're absolutely right. You can't know the full context until you go through the fourth wall yourself. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I can forget AI, I'm not even there yet. I can make a video, do whatever I want it to do, or make the context whatever I want. If I'm an Arab, I haven't talked to him about this documentary yet, but maybe I interview 25 people for that documentary, and let's say Arab wanted to do a hatchet job, and he doesn't do that. But like, let's say he was a bad guy and he wanted to do a hatchet job. If 5 of those people were shitting all over something, and that's the angle that he wanted, but 20 of the people told the truth and said, no, it's actually all fine or whatever, and that's the angle he didn't want, you'd never know that he cut the other 20 people out. Exactly. You know? And so I do.
You've never been.
You've never been?
You've never been.
You went to a place, but you've never been. I mean, as a rule, I don't talk about a country until I've gone there. When have you been to Iran?
That's the best thing to say when you're losing an argument. You've never been.
You've never been. I remember just being like, oh, man, that's an L for the fucking academic class. It's a tough one. Dave Smith is
on fire.
Dave Smith is always on fire, man. And here's the thing. Whether or not he's right or wrong on a given issue, whatever it is, man, is he fucking great at presenting it.
He's got moxie.
And if you can't accept that going into it and understand that that is what you're dealing with, and you better fucking bring the goods and bring it in a way that is digestible and entertaining to everyone, then that's your fucking problem.
Yeah, that dude's got moxie. My favorite was when he called that one guy it. The Berenson guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, what are you talking about, you it?
Oh my God. Well, the new favorite now is Coldman Hughes body bagged you.
Oh my God, the bro. PBD guy.
Oof. that was Deep ruined my day.
And he showed you that interview, that debate?
Deep's like, you need to stop what you're doing. I'm like, I'm not stopping what I'm doing. I'm making thumbnails. We have an episode at 12. He's like, well, you need to put this on it. And I was like, put on what? And he's like, this guy debating Dave Smith. And it was like that fucking headphones meme where you're just like, oh no. Because Dave didn't even win. That was the one debate. He didn't even have to say anything.
It wasn't even a fucking debate.
He just sat there. He's like Shannon Sharp is fucking smoking a fucking whatever, Black and Mile, and saying, look right here, man.
Oh, God, that was tough.
That was a tough watch.
I don't know what was worse, that or the post game with him and his daddy PBD. He's like lecturing him and on his live show. He's like, Adam, we need to have a talk here. The reason I'm doing this live is because I love you, man, but we have to have a talk. If you're just going to go doing debates without me knowing and looking like this, he's like, we're going to have a problem here. He's like, yes, sir. I know. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. And it was like, dude, it was like,
here's the thing.
No self-awareness. Zero.
That guy, Adam, obviously doesn't have a lot of self-awareness and is taking some L's, and he deserves it. But, like, I don't know. This is just me, and maybe this is just like what my dad taught me growing up. He's like, have really difficult conversations behind the scenes and take hard actions sometimes if that's what it calls for. But you handle it behind the scenes. Yeah. You don't fucking roll over on people in public.
He did it in public to save himself, though. That shows you, that tells you.
But why do you have to? I don't know. I don't know why. If you're talking about PBD there, I assume. Yeah. I don't know what the logic is there. But like,
that's what he said. He goes, the reason I'm doing this live is to cover my own ass.
He literally said that.
He said something like that. I'm not.
What does he have? That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's not exactly what he said.
You know, I guess people could be like, when BBD's sending people, he's not sending their best. You know, maybe they could say that about it, but I don't know. I just think that's something you handle behind closed doors. But, you know, he did get shoved into a locker and swirled through the fucking bathroom at the same time, for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sorry if that was like a little PTSD, Steve. Okay.
Oh,
I heard Steve go like, oh.
What, with the swirly?
Yeah.
You think Steve got swirlies?
I didn't think so. I think
No,
Steve,
I don't think
Steve was like beating the shit out of people in high school. That's why I was surprised.
Steve grew up in fucking Texas, bro.
Yeah.
He didn't have
I feel
it
like
easy.
he had a toothpick and he was just fucking rolling through the hallway being like, hey, SA, relax. Maybe that was the PTSD.
He grew up on the Texas-Mexico border, bro. He was running with the cartels.
He's like, yeah, I was doing that shit people all the time.
I grew up picking mushrooms out of cow patties.
That's right. That's right. And fucking taking them. Interesting picture of Baal back there, by the way.
Yeah, you like that?
No, but it's an interesting thing to look at.
That's Steve's desktop. That's your desktop
nice.
background
That's nice.
of Baal.
Awesome.
Is it Baal or was it BAA1? What was it?
Baphomet.
Oh, that's Baphomet. What's the difference?
What?
Baphomet and Baal?
They're all
I have
demons.
no
I don't
fucking
know.
clue.
I thought that was the same thing.
I have no idea. It's a bull. It's like a bull god that eats children.
Right. It has like the goat fucking horns. Or the goat head with the horns, and it's a human.
No. That's
and
not
it does
Baal.
the thing with the hands. Like
No,
the
that's
opposite.
different. The goat head with the horns. That's supposed to be the god Pan, right?
Pan or Pam?
Pan.
Pam, like two M's.
Pan, like a frying pan.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Pan. Right? Pan. And Pan also plays the fiddle. Or he plays the
what
lyre.
A creepy
the flute.
looking. Ugh. Oh, that one has titties.
Baphomet.
Yeah.
The goat of Mendes.
The goat of Mendez.
Oh, Baphomet. It says
Yeah,
Baphomet. I
Baphomet.
was wrong. The goat is Baphomet.
yeah,
yeah, that's my
But
bad.
Baal, as Kurt Metzger would say, is the bull.
Oh, very similar, right?
A little bit.
A little.
You had Hurricane Metzger roll through.
Yeah, dude, he was
You
here.
enjoy that?
I enjoyed every minute of it, dude. He
something else,
has
bro.
the most epic rants.
Oh, it's
ever.
great. I have no idea what he's saying half the time,
No,
but it's
me
fucking
neither.
awesome.
I have no fucking clue. I just let him go.
We just had our
I was
second.
trying to keep up.
We just had our second fucking Category 5 podcast with him. And first
How many
of all,
White Claws?
he went through. There were
5?
3 on camera, but he went through 6 and like 2 fat spliffs. Smoked up the whole kitchen right before because I don't have Danny Jones square footage in my place. So Deef and me just roll in there. We're high as fuck. I mean, he's ripped as fuck too. So you're like a half a step behind the whole way too, which doesn't help.
Yeah.
And then just for whatever it was, 2.5 hours, just bam, boom, 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 and then he just hit you. Like I don't know where these thoughts.
I don't know how he fucking absorbs all this information. Where does he get it from? How does he have the time?
Kurt's. That's a great question. That you can say a lot of things about Kurt. You can disagree with certain opinions he has for sure, but that's not a dude who's not looking into it at all times. He's lasered in. I
Oh
mean,
my
he's like an
God.
autistic kid in algebra. He's going.
Oh my God.
It's what it is.
Insane, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize either when he came in here that he used to be a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah, I think that's what like black pilled him or whatever.
Yeah,
you
I
say.
think the Jehovah's Witness
He's like,
shit
what the fuck is this
that
shit?
opened up his world.
Yeah, he's like, fuck these people. They're going door to door. Well, the best was when he called. He had this one hit where he was talking about Les Wexner, and he's like, Les Wexner was like the James Bond of Israel. The difference is James Bond actually said his name before he fucked you. Les Wexner's like, roll back, baby. Let's go, Jeffrey. Hop on and ride it. And we're just like, oh my God, bro. Where is this clocking? Like, where is that from? It's just like there's zonks coming around all over the place.
Yeah.
But I was scrolling through because I needed B-roll for some separate thing for the Discovery Channel thing.
Yes, that was fucking hilarious.
So Discovery Channel's executive producer for that show that I did the episode on with Andy says, hey, can you just record these 30 to 35 seconds or whatever of just these basic lines, and it'll be like you're in your podcast, just in case we want to use like the voiceover or whatever, and then cut to that and roll it into part of what's in the episode. I'm like, all right, sure. So we had like 2 minutes to do it. So I'm like, all right, Deef, I'm gonna stick this in size 72 font, just sit it where the guest is and like look here and like kind of do it line by line. So it's like 4 lines or something, which means there's 4 breaks where I'm like, all right, what's the next line there? All right, let me get this right. So afterwards I'm like, well, I gotta find some guest that I'm putting the B-roll in on. So I went through, I'm like, well, I just had Kurt in. First of all, I go through the full timeline of Kurt. It's very hard to find a spot where he's not saying something. Like he's talking the entire time. If I'm talking, he's talking too. And then I find this one spot where he's got the glasses on, the pipe right here, and he's just ripping a claw. And I just cut back and forth. The first one, I say like a really serious line. I'm like, the crazy thing about this Epstein case is that after all these years, we still don't know what happened outside the cell. And it just like cuts to Kurt like this and then like drinking a claw and putting it down. And then it keeps cutting back to him like with the fucking pipe like this. And I'm like, I'm like, this is funny, but they're never gonna accept this. I send it over to the Discovery Channel guy right away. He's like, I love the White Claw, that's great. And they fucking took it.
That's amazing.
So I hope it makes the episode, but it was funny as fuck, man.
I love the way he drinks White Claws. He drinks them so aggressive too. He's just like
Yeah, no.
fucking slamming them.
He's pounding them for sure.
Oh my god. I forgot about that thing you did with Bustamante. So you guys did what was it? You tried to recreate. He recreated the whole jail cell that Epstein was in, and then you did like
he did put out that picture now, so people have seen it. So there's some of this I can talk about now. Because at first they're like, "Yo, wait till we're right up at the episode," but there's some of it I can talk about.
And Andy, a guy who the first time we talked to him with Jimmy D, was like, I don't even think he was doing blackmail.
Yeah.
he wasn't even in the room.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't even like approaching the walkway to all the shit that's come out, right?
Yeah.
And now like he's already fucking done a full tour and he's left the building.
Yes. Which is making me think. Because I'm like, wait a minute. Are you trying to pin the entire thing on Mossad now on behalf of CIA? Is that what we're doing? We know Mossad's at fault, but like CIA's got some fault in this matter too. So I don't know, because like I've always shared the opinion with you privately and publicly that like, of course, I think Andy's still working with him, member of the team, if you will. So you got to take certain things he says with an enormous fucking grain of salt, a boulder, if you will.
Well, I mean, yeah, totally.
Yeah, and so. I was like, when he asked me to do this, because he's doing this new show and they're doing a different episode on a totally different topic each time. He's like, I'm doing one on Epstein. I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, hey, I'm going to fly out to Colorado and do it. Like, what are we even going to talk about? Because I'm thinking he's going to be like, well, we don't know that he's a blackmailer. No. He's like, no, there's some shit here. Just come out and do it with me. I was like, okay. So he's like, we have some other people doing the episode too. Like, it'll be fine. Fine, I'll do it. When I get out there, he hadn't told me what we're talking about as it relates to the case at all. So we go down into his like TV studio lair that they built, and for like an hour, we have this just general conversation where he's like kind of interviewing me about Epstein. It was actually like pretty good, but they're gonna use like 2 minutes of it because it's TV. And at the end of it, he goes, all right, so when I was looking at this case, I was trying to think what I was most interested in investigating. And I still just can't get over this guy's death. So I'm thinking that's what we should really be looking into. And in my head, I'm going, really? Like, this is the most stereotypical part. Why are we looking at his death? And of course, I didn't think
And also a distraction from the real shit in the big picture.
Yes.
Like, doesn't matter. It really doesn't fucking matter if he's dead or alive.
That is what I was thinking. And then things took a turn after that. And it was a little like, I don't know how it's going to come out because I'm still processing it, but I had to process it all that day live. And I called you like halfway through, like, what the fuck? But he's like, yeah, we're going to investigate his death. And just like you, I'm thinking like, all right, come on. I know he didn't kill himself, but like, what are we really doing here? And he goes, if you look to your right, you see that door with caution tape on it? And there's this giant, I hadn't even noticed this. There's a giant prison door behind me with the caution tape across, just like they had in the picture, the DOJ report. And he goes,
pull up the DOJ report, crime scene photos of Jeffrey Epstein in 2019.
And then let's pull up at Everyday Spy's Instagram because he took pictures. This is why I can talk about this part a little bit.
You can keep going. It'll take him a minute.
Yeah. So I'm like, you rebuilt his cell? And he goes, bar for bar, word for word. I'm like, or he said something like that. And I'm like, okay. So he's like, let's go in. So we go in, and bro, he had the pill bottles like in the same spots.
No shit.
He had the little books in the same spots. He had all the orange, torn up sheets and shit in the same spot. It was creepy. And I'm not gonna go through all of it now because like it's not out yet, and I'm not really supposed to like go through the whole thing. But basically, it very quickly moved from, no shit, he didn't commit suicide. And Andy went into full mode and proved it with a dummy and everything. You'll see the work he did. And he was like so into it as well. He was like fucking throwing this dummy around and shit, doing the physics of it. And then I was like helping him with the physics because I'm like, oh, he'd have to do this too. And we demonstrate that. And we're like, that's, a fucking 50, 60-something-year-old guy's going to be able to do that for sure, right? But like a 20-year-old LeBron James isn't going to be able to do that.
Find the photo of the door with the caution tape.
Yeah.
So it was at the top. It was at the top, Steve.
And so,
There you go.
yep, right there. So he had, click that one. That's perfect. So basically he had rebuilt this. So if we go to his Instagram now.
Go to Everyday Spy on Instagram.
You'll see the inside of it. But he starts going through that. And then it very quickly moves from, once we ruled out suicide, to Andy very clearly trying to demonstrate that he's demonstrating to me, and I didn't know if he was fucking with me at first. It is, go up. See it right there see it? Yep. So there he is in the cell with, that's the whole production team that was doing it.
Okay.
So they literally rebuilt it to scale, and there's a part of the episode that didn't involve me that I won't talk about, where they were, let's just say he was able to verify all this shit about what the cell looked like. Not that he needed that, but it was pretty wild what he was able to bring in there to do that. But I started to realize quickly that he was trying to get to the, hey, is he dead?
He was.
Like as a legitimate question. And yeah, I mean, you and I, we've known Andy forever, and we're like, come on, this Andy.
You're playing it up, buddy.
Andy, Mr. Don't ever,
Right.
what's the line? Don't ever leave up to conspiracy what can be complained by stupidity. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Right,
I'm thinking,
right.
Andy's trying to tell me this guy's
Mr.
alive.
Occam's razor.
Right. Andy's trying to tell me this guy's alive. And then I don't know how long it was, but after a little while, I'm like, oh, he's serious. He's dead. Like, unless there's going to be like a giant, he fucks with me once we get out of here, which was possible. Right. I'm like, he's dead serious. So I'll just say this. There's something in the cell that is exactly what the cell was. That on the literal official schematic of the prison that was always there was not on it. And it's the only cell that was like that. So much so that in one of the reports,
Wait, what are you saying was not on it?
there is a part, you'll see it in the episode. I'm sorry to blue balls people, but it's like I'm
Come on, man. We want to come.
There is I know. I understand that. But I got to do my little part I promised here. But like there is a part of the cell that when you look at, if you're looking at like a construction layout of the prison that the official prison had prior to the day that Jeffrey Epstein died and may still have today. I don't know.
Sure.
There's a part of the cell that is not on that schematic, and it is the only cell that has something that is not on the schematic. And basically, it is a very useful part.
And you proved this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, completely. So much so.
An escape hatch, basically.
That one of the, at least one, I can't remember off the top of my head, but at least one of the reports, because he had, after we left the cell, he took me outside and went through every single government document that was written about this. He had them all on the table in binders, and we were just ripping through them off camera and then on camera. And I was like, holy shit. And I think it was on the FBI one. They literally had a picture of a different cell. It was not his cell, provably.
Well, I know. I remember, because I remember, if you remember this photo, the original photo they took of the front of the cell when the story first dropped, it was not, and then the FBI dropped the footage from the little corridor of the other cell. That wasn't his fucking cell. His cell was down the stairs and around the fucking corner. And the FBI literally released a tape saying that was his cell. Here's the fucking 24-hour footage of it. I mean, if that, what do you, like...
Basically,
It's insane. It's
Basically-
insane the amount of lies.
Andy, the lies are insane, of course. And Andy, you know, he's
Now get a screen grab of the footage the FBI released of the front of his cell and look how different it looks.
I'm saying I even saw stuff inside where Andy proved that the foundation was all different and it wasn't his cell.
Right.
It was even worse than that. It wasn't just the outside.
Yeah.
So I started to, I'm like, oh my God, he's dead serious.
Yeah,
and
right
he basically started very matter-of-factly explaining exactly how to get him out of this prison. And how, like, I think he used the word how easy it is.
Mm-hmm.
And how it doesn't require many people. And so when we went out and talked about it, I was having like a, what the fuck? Like I was literally, it had gone from me being, you know, jumpy and having a good time, whatever, to like, what the fuck? Like,
You were speechless.
And he's like, so I brought you here to see if I'm crazy.
Right.
And I'm like, Andy, in this moment, as I'm just digesting all this, maybe later I'm going to laugh at this and be like, how did I miss this? Or how did I miss that? But like in this moment, no, I don't think you're crazy. And I think this guy might, I think he's alive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we know there was all kinds of fake images of him online and people want Palm Beach Pete be him.
I love Palm Beach Pete, bro. I love, did you see he was on the Colbert show?
Was he really?
I fucking can't believe it, dude. He is a superstar. Overnight superstar. Could you imagine?
He's loving it.
Find the Palm Beach Pete on the Colbert show. I hope it's real.
He
My wife
wouldn't
said,
have given him a, like,
there you go.
You know, because Jeffrey was
No,
meeting
that's
with,
not it.
He met with a face transplant surgeon like the year before he got arrested. Like,
Come on, Steve, you can do it.
If you're in that level and you go to get a new face, you're getting a new face. You're not getting like a Build-A-Bear, you know, knockoff face of your own face.
Yeah.
And that's what fucking Palm Beach Pete is. Uh-huh. He's a poor man's Jeffrey Epstein.
Maybe it wasn't Colbert. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was another late night show. Just type in Palm Beach Pete late night show or something, or like interview maybe.
He was definitely on TMZ. I saw that. And he was on some fucking podcast.
This was like a. My wife was showing me a TikTok, and it was like of him on one of the television late night shows.
Oh,
Gotta be able to
that
find it.
shot over there.
Hey guys, it's Palm Beach Pete coming to you live from Palm Beach.
Yeah, he's really trying to ride this thing
I'm not
out.
Jeffrey Epstein. You see the one of him in front of the private jet too?
No.
There was one of him. I don't know if it was. That's the problem. I don't know how much.
Oh
it's AI.
yeah, and they were saying it looks like the same
They
as
were
the
saying
front
it
of the
looks
Lolita.
like the same as the Lolita. Yeah.
Oh man, it's a little club, and you ain't fucking.
But
in
a
it.
lot. So that's the thing that another thing that Kurt was saying to me. He's like, dude, I've been to a lot of places. I see a lot of people. There's not much of as much of a variation in people that as you think. He's like, there's a lot of people that look very, very fucking similar. And Palm Beach Pete and Epstein were obviously.
Well, he
cut
knew
from-
him.
Oh, there you go. Jimmy
on
Kimmel. There you
Kimmel.
go.
Did you see that? He knew him.
Who knew? He knew Epstein?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Oh, he admitted it to TMZ.
No.
Yes. He's like, yeah, I was at a few parties with him once. I didn't
Oh,
really
shut
know
the
the guy.
fuck up.
Yes,
He's-
he did. I swear to God.
Give it volume.
Do people actually mistake you for him?
They give me the double look, but now
The
that
double
it's
look?
gone viral, Jimmy, it's nonstop. They want to take pictures of me, my autograph, but as Palm Beach Pete. I'm not Epstein. I'm just Palm Beach Pete living my life.
Is he
That's
on
right.
Cameo yet?
And please say hello now to
Oh my God.
Is he on Cameo
Can
yet?
you
He's
get-
got to be on Cameo. He's got to be banking off Cameo
Steven,
right now.
I don't know if you can find it, but like Palm Beach Pete knew Epstein. He like talked about it. I
And he
think it was
met
with
him?
TMZ where he's like, yeah, I was at a few parties in New York or maybe Palm Beach or something. And, you know, I'd see the guy on the couch. I didn't really know him.
Look at him. We got to buy a
It's like,
Cameo
it's
off
like
him.
maybe Pete, you don't admit that one out loud. Maybe that's one you keep off the camera or off the interview. No, nobody needed to know that.
God.
You wanted
Yeah,
you wanted
he's
what?
got a cameo.
That
You want
is-
to order one?
I want to watch one of them. Play one of his cameos.
You
I
wanna
wanna
watch one of
I want
them?
to watch one of them. I want to see like what I want to get one. I'm definitely going to order one.
Yeah, you should order one.
How about this anniversary?
Yeah, let's watch the anniversary
Here we
one.
go.
Hey, everybody, it's Palm Beach Pete, and I'm wishing a greet. Tweeting to Max and Dillon, those parties were great. I want you to enjoy your life to the utmost. Palm Beach Pete smiles and enjoys his life, so I want you to enjoy your life too.
Oh, he's talking in third
everything
person.
will come to you. Just keep on doing what you do.
Now shut the fuck up and pay me.
Hey, Otis GD, it's Palm Beach Pete calling back from Florida. Happy birthday. I want all his followers to get him up to a really great number, so continue to follow us, Otis GD. Otis GD, continue what you're doing. Be a good person. Enjoy your birthday.
We're fucked.
All right. We get
Humanity's fucked.
it. Oh, man. Nothing like a John Kiriakou cameo,
Overnight stardom for looking like an international pedophile.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be a lot less excited than Palm
Not
Beach
just
Pete.
pedophile, but a literal somebody who sacrifices children.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
worst one.
Look at the shit-eating crazy. He's like Christoph Waltz in fucking Inglourious Bastards. He's like, ooh, that's a bingo. Ooh. Is that how you say
He
it?
also has the similar voice.
It's
Very
higher
similar
pitched,
voice,
but
a little bit
similar.
higher pitched. Yeah.
Yeah.
They got the same Florida tan.
Yeah.
It's so fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, I would go away. I would.
Yeah.
And he's apparently really rich. I would.
Yeah, right. What do you need the money for?
I might even like sue the guy who took the video of me on just to like outspend his lawyers, just to be like, don't you ever fucking do that to me again. Is that what you do with fuck you money?
Oh my god!
Like, isn't that what you do? You just buy lawyers and create hearings and shit.
Yeah, you just create fake fucking suit. You sue people off bullshit just to scare the shit out of them and just to shut them the fuck up.
Yeah, look
That's
at how
what Kash
excited he
Patel's
is.
wife does.
Look at him.
I know.
Look at it. Ooh, that's a bingo.
Yeah, John Kiriakou is the #1 person on fucking Cameo right now, dude.
It's amazing.
It's incredible. Like the world just keeps coming to John Kiriakou. He does nothing. He
overdue.
He just continues to be himself, and the world just hands itself over to him, and it's incredible to see.
He's blissfully happy in his own little world, and it needs to remain that way.
Can you believe this? Wait till you hear what happened to me.
I don't know. It just happened. Let me give you an example.
Give me an example.
I'm on Cameo the other day. Do you know this app, Danny? It's a great app. I met the CEO. Great guy. Someone calls me up and they're like, wish my wife a happy anniversary. Here's $400.
Danny, look at this. I have 85 plus Cameo requests right now. I'm going back to my hotel. I'm going to be up till 3 o'clock in the morning.
And you didn't tell him
recording cameos.
You didn't tell him he was staying at the same hotel? I would have fucking recorded a fucking cameo for him. Holy shit, man. We just missed each other with you and then with Matt, like back to back. He was right there.
God. Dude.
But
then he went on Matt's show. Yeah.
The best edit of all of them was the one from Diary of a CEO where he's like, so she accepts lunch, and then I go in, and I'm like, oh my God, she accepts lunch. And my boss is like, listen, I want you to fuck her. He's like, what? Have you seen her? I can't do that. He's like, I know, but we're the good guys. So, all right, I'll do it. It's like, dude. And where he, like, what's the one of the comments on Black Twitter that went really, really viral? Because Black Twitter loves John. I was trying to explain Black Twitter to John. It was going in one ear, out the other. But I'm like, just know they love you. And if you roll up in the hood, you don't have to stand on business. You're good. Like, you're good on either side of the equation for sure. But they were like, this motherfucker John ain't never told a joke in his life, and he the funniest dude online. Like, he just says things. Like, in that same clip, he's like, this woman was the ugliest woman I've ever seen. Like, and then he goes like, and you can see like his brain is picturing it from his life. And he's like, it was as if you reached up onto the side of Notre Dame and pulled down a gargoyle.
Yeah.
Where the fuck? Like, or no, he goes, it's like she came straight off the side of Notre Dame. And then he explained what a gargoyle was. And I'm like, that's cinema.
Yeah.
Like, Deef and I could sit in a room trying to write a script all day for some fucking movie, and we would not come up with a visual that perfect.
No.
And it's just comes right to him.
He's gifted, man.
He's gifted.
I'm glad he left the CIA.
I'm glad he did. I'm sad about the circumstances for him of how it went down.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he gets his pardon soon.
You know, If you want some good PR, Trump, that's an easy W. I mean, people like him. So, I mean, they're pardoning fucking fraudsters.
Did you see the guy they pardoned the other day? We talked about it with John. It was the guy who this guy had a fucking nursing home. And he had people suing him because their fucking grandmas were dying because he was giving them the wrong medications or feeding them the type of like foods when they shouldn't be eating foods and shit. And like there was at least probably a half dozen lawsuits from families suing this guy because he killed their fucking grandparents. And it was some sort of class action lawsuit. That dude was in prison. Trump just fucking pardoned him for whatever reason. This guy. One inmate paid lobbyists and lawyers with ties to President Trump's team and walked free. Others are following his blueprint, but it's not always clear who can deliver.
And this guy's getting a pardon, but John's
the guy's
not.
getting a fucking pardon, bro.
Just $100,000, man.
And the guy who illegally, by the way, pushed for John's illegal prosecution is Trump's arch enemy. That's what I don't understand. John Brennan's the guy who made the whole thing happen. There's no one on this earth that Donald Trump hate. Donald Trump, like...
Wait, John Brennan did what?
He's the guy who sent John to prison, effectively.
Really?
Yes. The FBI investigated John for a year after they tried to make him the fall guy. And
Right.
He went to, and that other
They were
thing
trying to set him up
that we
and
can't talk
the fake
about,
recruitment and all that.
the whole bit. And
Yeah.
then they... Like, God, if people knew, like, the actual backstory, that I wish I
It's
could talk
fucking
about
nuts.
that, but I can't. I can't. So... Anyway, so he goes and he defends the same people that he was shredding behind the scenes like a good loyal guy, which, I'm sure he regrets doing that. But like that all happened. And then the FBI came and investigated him for a full year and they literally apologized to him. And he hates the FBI and they hate him. Like he always talks about that. He's been talking about that since the very first podcast he did with you. Like he never got along with those guys. But at the end of the year, this is like 2008. They come to him and they send him an official letter and they say, hey, there's nothing there. Sorry for the inconvenience and everything. I hope you understand we're just doing our job, but we're not filing charges. Okay, great. And then he ends up working for John Kerry as the fucking, chief investigator for the Senate Foreign Intelligence Committee. And then he finds all the poppy fields in Afghanistan. They're like, no, not that kind of investigation. No, not like that. No, get back here. And then there's a bunch of emails of John Brennan hitting up Fast and Furious Holder, pun intended, about like, you need to make a case against John Kiriakou. And Eric Holder is literally telling John Brennan, like, we already looked at that. There's no case. And then John's like, find one.
No way.
And they hated each other back there.
That's fucking
And so that's why I really don't understand why Trump hasn't pardoned Kiriakou because like
Trump don't like Brennan?
Oh, he fucking hates Brennan, bro.
Why?
I mean, where do I begin? Brennan was like the chief architect of Russiagate. Let's start with that.
Oh, yeah.
And Brennan's also just a liar. I mean, he's a professional liar, but like a liar to the extent that like
He's a fake person. He's a fake person.
He's literally a cutout of a person.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was a documentary on Showtime that dropped in 2015. It was like around Christmas time. So right when Trump's like becoming like, well, maybe he's actually a candidate. They dropped this documentary called like CIA Spy Masters in the Crosshairs. And it's every living former director or acting director of CIA being interviewed. And then, like guys like Jose Rodriguez.
Oh,
who was,
yeah,
like, running the Black
yeah. I
Sites.
remember this.
And so John Brennan at the time was the active CIA head. And it gets this dramatic part where they're asking every single former head, and John Brennan is the current head, separately about whether or not the United States should do torture. And John Brennan gives this response like, I feel like we live in a country where we need to be above that, and we should not engage in torture. He's the fucking guy that wrote the memos how to fucking create it.
Right.
Saying that unironically. And it's like when you see things like that, and then when the average American sees something like that, they're going about their day, and then they find out about this John Brennan guy because they're looking into it a little bit, and they go, the whole thing needs to burn down. I get it. I'm like, hey, I mean, fuck, man.
Yeah.
The stench is at the top.
I mean, like, just tell the truth about the torture shit. It's not even half bad compared to all the other shit we know about now.
As crazy as that is, you're 100% right.
Like, tell the public, look, we're going to torture people who we think are terrorists. What's the big fucking deal? Like, there's a lot.
MK Ultra.
There's a lot. It's not MK Ultra. It's not blowing the president's brains out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not a fucking international pedophile arms trafficking ring.
That's right. That's right. On the list of priorities, it's like the line. You make that deal, I make that deal.
I make that deal.
I'll make that deal.
That's a damn good deal.
Good deal. we'll give the people that one. Like, yeah, we brought out a bucket with some water a few times. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
They could have just, what are you going to do to America? And it would have been over 3 weeks later. People wouldn't have cared that much.
How crazy is it that they literally hired psychologists to come up with that torture program? And one of the dudes lives right down the street from here.
Yeah,
like an hour
to
from
the
here.
tune of $82 million.
82. Yeah, the guy lives in a fucking mansion on a
what's
lake.
his name? James
Mitchell.
James Mitchell.
I think that's his last name.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a great video of him on Vice where he's in a canoe.
It's like out fishing. He's like,
I'll do your interview, but you're going to do it on my canoe.
Tommy G would have done
Surrounded by gators.
that. Tommy G would 100% done that.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Oh, he don't give a fuck, bro.
Yeah.
He'll put an alligator in a fucking rear naked choke.
Yeah. Yeah, he wouldn't have shot it like clavicular either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to give that guy some truth serum. That guy Mitchell. And get to the bottom
I would too.
Get to the bottom of it.
I would want to know, beyond just like him being hired as a contractor, I forget his partner's name, but like the two of them being hired.
The other guy was the Mexican dude who lived in North Florida. Not Mexican. He was like a Hispanic dude. What's his name?
You're not talking about Jose Rodriguez.
Maybe I'm talking about him. Yeah.
He was the guy at CIA. I'm talking about the two consultants. It was Mitchell and not Mitchell and Ness, like the hat company, but it was
Find
Mitchell
out who it was. Who are the two consultants who came up with the enhanced interrogation program?
Yeah. And so
Psychologists.
I would want to know, not just like, oh, everything they got wrong and why that was all bullshit. I'd want to know that. But I'd want to know once they got in there and were in some of these rooms, and then someone like actually powerful, not some bullshit consultant like them, turned to them and said, you like your head? Yeah, you ain't saying shit, pal.
Bruce Jansen.
Bruce Jansen. That's it.
Jessen. Bruce Jessen.
Jessen.
Mitchell and Jessen.
Mitchell and Jessen.
Yeah.
That's a great name for a law firm.
It is. It is. You know? But that's the thing. Like on my list of like things I would want to know is like a fly on the wall. That's actually pretty low on the list for CIA. Like there's a lot of things.
Super fucking low.
It's very low on the list. There's a lot of things I would want to be the fly on the wall. I mean, I would have loved to just be the fly that like sat on the back of Sidney Gottlieb's suit without him knowing it for like 10 years and just like lived there. Didn't bite him. You know, it was just like, I'm just going to park it right here. You don't know I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm just watching what you're doing, fam. You know, what was he doing? A lot.
What about forget Sidney Gottlieb? What about Jolly West?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
He was fucking everywhere.
That's like Mario and Luigi, bro.
But Jolly West wasn't just a part of MK. Like Jolly West was kind of like more at like the tip of the spear, or not Jolly West, but Sidney Gottlieb. But Jolly West was literally the guy who was like in Jack Ruby's cell.
Yep.
He was fucking at the clinic where Charles Manson was going.
Yep.
Also on the set of 2001 Space Odyssey. Yep. The dude, he's like fucking Forrest Gump of CIA mind control.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Look at that. There he is behind Stanley Kubrick. And who's the other guy again?
Not LBJ.
Stanley Kubrick and
Who's the Kevin Costner looking motherfucker?
I don't know who that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who that guy is. The Jolly West dude, that guy he was an evil motherfucker. You know, both of his children and his wife committed suicide. What does that say about that dude?
You know, the tragedy of lineage in awful decisions is a tale as old as time. I don't know the details of that. I don't even think I was aware of that for that one, but you know, I think about that a lot because, like, you know, not that we're ever dealing with shit like this, but in life you're going to make good choices and bad choices, and you just try not to make the bad choices on purpose, and you try to make a lot more good choices than bad choices. But like the things you do affect especially the people that come after you as well if they're really huge mistakes. You know? And that's, to me, when I look at the story of all these guys, you know, launch OSS and CIA and created this apparatus, I don't think those guys ever thought about that. I think they were so hardcore in actually believing through their power that they were the good guys, that no matter what they did, it was somehow holier than thou. And that there's no one that comes through clearer on than the Dulles brothers, and then in particularly Alan Dulles, who ended up running CIA. But like, you know, those guys go back to fucking literally the Treaty of Versailles. You think about all the things that those two fucking poison ivy shrouds touched. It starts there, probably earlier, but like, it just for sake of argument here, starts at the Treaty of Versailles and ends effectively covering up the Kennedy assassination after they did it. And it's like, you wonder if there was ever a moment where a guy like Alan Dulles looked in his fucking vanity mirror in his Georgetown fucking townhouse and was like, fuck, I'm the bad guy. I don't think that moment ever happened. We'll never know, but I don't think it ever happened. I think he legitimately thought he was the good guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what happens when you get surrounded by people that never fucking challenge you. Yep. And you don't have, honestly, like a good spouse, like a good wife or a good husband if you're a woman to balance you out. Because that's what you need to be humble and wise and not turn into a complete sociopath asshole.
I couldn't agree with that more. Behind every great man, there's a greater woman. Yeah, that's like one of the truest things ever.
And that's one of the that's, you know, when you see people like that fucking Jolly West guy or any of these other people, they might be married, but their families are completely disconnected from them. They never fucking see them, and you know, in his case, the wife and the kids end up fucking killing themselves.
Yeah,
like. You're just completely abandoning these people. And I'm sure that has some sort of a negative feedback loop with him, which makes him super depressed, makes him super angry, maybe makes him hate himself. And, you know, on the other hand, this guy's out doing his thing, making money, literally surrounded by people who are probably just, you know, telling him everything he's doing is great, and he lives in this fucking delusion, and he has no one to balance him out or tell him he's crazy or keep him humble like that. That's right. I think that's probably like the bane of human existence, and that's what makes people go down those dark spirals where they turn into fucking monsters like that.
Completely agree. And that's why, you know, when you're living, we're always living through history where it's being created every day. You would like to think that you learn from the past and you spot the same patterns right there when you see them.
Right.
And it's on a whole nother level if you are those people where you're in these positions of power, and you would like to think you'd be able to spot it in yourself or the people around you. And the fact of the matter is, when you look throughout human existence, yeah, the circumstances change, the technology changes, the who's against who changes and all that, but the human nature never changes. And the human nature says that people you will get people in positions of power who go down that spiral, and that's what it is. And I've talked about this before. It's like one of the weird, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? It's one of the weird paradoxes of life. But like when you look throughout human history, this is why I'm an optimist. Things get progressively better. Good wins out. It does. Things are objectively, we're in a wild moment right now. I'm not saying sometimes we don't take a little step back to take 3 steps forward, you know. One small leap for mankind, or whatever the fuck they said on that set, you know. But either way, like overall, it goes up. The Quality of life goes up around the world. Yes, when we have access to more information, we see more suffering than we ever did. So we think that that's the total rule rather than, you know, a smaller part of the rule than it was fucking 20 years ago.
Yeah, we have more access to shit now.
And that is what it is. But like the wild thing is that also throughout human history, in the short term, evil can beat good. It's this weird thing, and I've talked about this with you.
Evil
on the phone.
can beat good
In the short term.
Isn't that what Netanyahu just said?
And that was what was so funny, because the way he put it was like disgraceful, and he tried to like invoke Jesus, like it's just fucking scumbag city. But the point, I don't know what his full point was there or what he was getting at, like over the long term or whatever. But what I'm saying is, I've talked with you on the phone about this for years. It's like, if I put 100 people in a room and 99 of them are good and one of them is evil, who's willing to act surreptitiously through evil, in the short term, the evil could win, right? Like think about the Dark Knight experiment where the two boats don't blow each other up, where good wins because no one hits the bomb. All you needed was one person in there to hit the bomb. And if I ran a simulation of that same exact moment 100 times, 9 times out of 10, one asshole is going to fucking hit the bomb.
Right.
And in the short term, kaboom, everyone blows up.
Yeah.
And it's evil.
Correct.
However, on the contrary, if I have 99 evil people in a room and one good person in the room, that good person really has no chance. I mean, they fucking killed Jesus, bro. I mean, it's like, you know, you in the short term, you don't have a chance. The beautiful thing about life, though, and this is why I think this is a happy ending, is that when you look at things as they develop over time, removing yourself from the 100-person in one room making one decision experiment, the good wins out. It does overall. It doesn't mean that we don't still have genocides happening in the world and things like that are objectively like the worst thing ever. It doesn't mean we don't have things like fucking, I don't know, arms dealing sex traffickers working for multiple governments and selling kids around the world and getting away with it while everyone laughs and creates a fucking war and a rant to distract from the problem. It doesn't mean that shit doesn't happen.
I love that you're doing a solo right now.
But like, I'm just saying, Danny Jones, over the long term, humanity finds a way to get better and better. And that's why I try, like, even as we're covering, like, there's 2 stories this year that are fucking insane and they're not positive in any way, shape, or form, unless you're the CEO of Hermes. But other than that, like, literally, if you know, you know.
Or Palm Beach Pete.
But I don't know how positive that is. But like, when I'm looking at this, you have Epstein and Iran, and they are negative to the core. People dying, people get raped, things getting covered up, economy crashing and people losing their jobs around the world, you know, chaos, etc. But like, we can be at a point where very bad things may come out of this in the short term, and sure as shit, they already are. But 10, 20 years from now, we can improve from this. And then we'll have a new problem, but that problem would be a little lesser.
Right. I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's the beautiful thing about life, and that's how I try to look at it, even when I'm covering these stories. And like, Deef and I have been covering it in the 3rd episode every week with the solo episodes and all that. And like, you know, you still gotta, you have to know when to be very, very serious about parts of it, for sure, because life is not all one big joke, even when you want it to be. But like, you have to have fun with the chaos as well. Because that's how we talk our way through it. That's how we deal with it when fucking no one's going to jail over things like Epstein. They just fucking get away with it, right? You deal with it through dark, divine comedy, if you will. And I'd like to think that there will be some lessons learned from this. And I do think I think the average American needs a lot more credit now than, you know, we would have gotten 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago, as to like, there are more people who are aware that like, some shit is fucked, you know? And there's a lot of people who are aware of that because they've taken the time to be aware of that, and they maybe don't even really have that time to look into that because they got bills to pay, families to take care of and stuff, but they're still getting somewhat informed. What you were talking about early on, either before we started or right when we got on air, you know, I don't know when the cameras start rolling, but like, I think when you take that way too far and it becomes the whole meaning of your life, and your whole life is doom and gloom, everything's fucked, Elmo fire me, well, that's a problem. You can't be like that.
Yeah. And things are becoming more exposed now. It's harder to keep secrets now. The secrets come out easier. There's way more people out there. There's way more access to information, and secrets don't inherently encourage good behavior.
That's right.
secrets, I think, enable bad behavior. So that just goes to your point that if people are, it's harder for the government or whoever,
Yes.
and companies, people like, these billionaires that are running around with impunity can't keep secrets, then they have to they have to act better. They have to be on their best behavior because they're not going to be able to get away with shit anymore. And that does give me optimism about all this shit.
Yeah.
But
I do think the other side of it, though, like Joe Rogan talks about this a lot, been talking about this for years. You think no one can keep a secret, but it is possible for larger groups than you think to keep secrets. And even today, where you're right, you can shine a light on the darkness more than you could in the past, and it's harder to keep a secret. That doesn't mean that there aren't things that, 100 people keep a lid on.
oh, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what's wild. And I hate them for it, but I also damn, respect the discipline. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like, you got these things floating around all day. They're fucking recording everything we say.
Yeah.
Imagine those guys they find
Hello
a
to
way.
our friends.
Yeah. Yeah. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Who is it we had in here the other day who was selling? Oh, it was Glenn Greenwald. He was saying, I would rather be an enemy of the CIA than an enemy of the Mossad.
Listen, Danny Jones. Oh, man. He did. But, bro, he was kind of saying what we were talking about a few weeks ago.
What with him?
I told you, I'm like, dude, I think I texted you and Deef this 4 weeks ago. And then Glenn, who's actually no shit, was talking about this.
Yeah.
But I was like, just objectively speaking, non-political statement here. The next president of the United States, if he runs and if they don't kill him, and in the words of Lieutenant Aldo Rain, and those are two big ifs, it'll be Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
Because he's got the three things you need. He can run to the left of the neocons, to the right of woke, and he's got celebrity charisma.
Yes.
I mean, that's the holy trinity of politics right now.
He's got fucking moxie, bro.
Yeah. And again, if he runs, huge if. And if they don't kill him, another big if. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and it sounded like Glenn was saying he's privately come on.
He's privately saying no. He just laughs at it.
Yeah,
which I hope is true. I hope that.
Me too.
It's a paradox. It's a paradox because the type of person that wants to run for president is not the type of person that you can really trust.
Here's the thing about Tucker Carlson, man. He's got some very different politics from me, but he's a brilliant guy who will tell you what the fuck he thinks, regardless of how it sounds to you, regardless of whether you're going to agree with it or not. You know where he stands on things, and I think there's a level of genuine nature that comes through on that, and he's willing. Maybe sometimes he goes too far with things because he gets a little pissed off, and he talks about that. Sometimes his emotions get the best of him, but he's willing to go ask questions that other people are afraid to ask questions on, and. Dude. That's getting the respect of people across the spectrum. I mean, I saw he did a podcast with Alex Gibney the other day.
Did he really?
Yeah. And Alex, could you imagine?
Alex Gibney did the BB Files.
Yes. Could you imagine Alex Gibney going on Tucker Carlson's show on Fox
dude, Alex
5 years
Gibney
ago?
Is so goddamn left.
He's very left. But there is some common ground on things.
That's wild.
And that is fascinating. So just because I don't know. That's one.
You don't have to change your politics to go from left to right. You can stay perfectly in the same. You can stay exactly where you are on all your points that you believe in, and the whole system will do a 180.
And it's doing it again. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's the only dude. All I ever think in life is you just don't. Oh, you made an assumption on that? You fucking retard. Don't assume anything. Assume you're just wrong about all of it. The only thing that I can think of in my life that I've felt some zen on in the last 9 years that has not shifted in any way, shape, or form is when I figured out that it's all a sham, politically speaking. The left and right, it's a joke. Mm-hmm. It doesn't
fake.
really, even without me knowing about the Supra-government idea and all the details of the Epstein files 9 years ago, I didn't know shit about that.
Right.
But like now it really makes sense. But I was just like, this is not real. It's all an act. It's all a uniparty. They get dinner at the same steakhouses in fucking DC. It's an inside job. It's bread and circus for the masses to fight over the things that don't matter. And then... And this wasn't around in 2016, 2017, but one of the most common stories I tell on my podcast, I've probably told it, 45 to 50 times over the years, is about one of your podcasts during the height of the pandemic with Stephen Kinzer. Because Stephen Kinzer basically explained it through a personal anecdote story so perfectly. So I'll repeat it now. But he was talking about when he was like the bureau chief for South America in the early 1980s, and Carter had left the presidency. He knew Carter from being a journalist when Carter was in office. He was maybe a year out of office, and he found out Carter was going to be coming down to where he was in South America. So he reached out to his team and said, hey, I'd love to get a beer or whatever. Carter meets up with him. They're having a drink, and he's like, well, it's been long enough since he left office. Maybe I can ask him some questions about what it was like. So he starts asking him what it was like to be president and all that. And Carter's like, oh my God, dude, it's fucking insane. Like, and you just get in there and they're like, oh, here you go, keys to the kingdom. And now Kinzer's explaining that he's feeling a little confident. He's like, okay, see how you approach this thing. He goes, what'd you do? What was like the first thing you did when you got in there? And Carter's like, I called every living president that still existed, and I met with them individually. And Kinzer asks him, even Nixon? He goes, even Nixon. And so Kinzer's like, all right, fuck it. Who gave the best advice? And Carter gave a big shit-eating grin, and he goes, Nixon. And Kinzer goes, why? And he goes, because Nixon didn't bullshit me. And I'm paraphrasing here. Go listen to the episode from back in the days of Concrete. But, he didn't bullshit me. He came in and he was like, listen, all the Congress is bullshit. The domestic politics, you can't do anything.
It's all controlled by the Jews.
That's not what he said.
Clip that.
But he's like, they're going to fight 5% for healthcare or some bullshit this way, that way. You can't really move anything. There's nothing that you can really do. But the foreign policy, now that's where you got
That's
the
where we
power.
can have some fun, boys.
That's where, and what he was saying is behind the closed doors, while everyone here is fighting at No Kings protests and shit like that over whether or not they're paying $700 a month or $600 a month for fucking healthcare and whether or not they like Trump or not. There's things happening behind the scenes that now we have more awareness on. We've been talking about this throughout the episode, like the average person does, but like things that happen outside the borders in other places with treaties and deals and backroom whatever and wars and death. And not even the stroke of a pen sometimes. Sometimes it's just, I'll make that deal. Drop a fucking bomb on a wedding. And nobody knows nothing. Mm-hmm. That's where the real and that hasn't changed. Mm-hmm. And so that only added to how I thought about this, because I'm like, it's all bullshit. And the politics comes back, like you were saying perfectly a few minutes ago. The politics comes back 180 again and again and again and again. And I've seen the movie too many times. I was like liberal when I was in college. I was like a Trump conservative, whatever that is, right after college. And then I was like a fuck all of them by the end of 2017. Right. And I've been a fuck all of them since the end of 2017.
What's the Winston Churchill quote? If you're not a socialist when you're young, you have no heart. If you're not a conservative when you're old, you have no brain.
And the Julian Dorey quote is, and if you're either by the time you're 30, you're retarded.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
It's just... That's a little harsh way of putting it, sorry. But like that's just, it's like the one thing that all the things I've had to change my mind on when presented with way better evidence that maybe I'll change my mind on again when better evidence comes from somewhere else. It's the one thing I haven't seen better evidence on. I've only seen stronger evidence over time that's what it is. Yeah. It's all just a game, And I do think if there's one critique I have of society that I've had for a while, I think it's that people certain people put way too much faith in like some individual wearing a suit asking for their election vote on a Tuesday in November. Yeah. Than they really even have the power to do, let alone the desire to do for the people that vote for them. Right. And that's a cynical way of putting it, but that is one place where I'm pretty cynical.
I think one of the good things is like 10 years ago, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, I think 10 years ago is a safe bet. If what was happening right now with Thomas Massie and Miriam Adelson, if that happened, she would get away with it. But I don't think she can get away with it. I think she could spend $1 trillion and it would just be Streisand effect. It would just be more people would know about it. More people would be calling it out. And I think it's going to work in the opposite. The fact that she's funding people against this guy. You know, I don't care. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's the boomers are the only ones that vote. The people on Twitter who are seeing all this stuff, maybe they don't vote. Maybe it's a statistic thing. Maybe it's the fucking people like my parents and your parents that get all their information from Fox and CNN. They're the ones that are seeing all the commercials that Mary Madison's paying for, and they're the ones that actually vote. People, me and you, we don't vote. Well, I used to vote, but I'm not going to vote any longer. Journalistic integrity.
I do
whatever
go
that
vote.
is.
I write in abstain.
Yeah, of course, journalist. Journalistic
Like,
integrity.
Fucking loser.
But yeah, I wonder if that's, maybe I could be wrong about that. I don't know.
I'll say this. I've never been to Kentucky. I've heard great things. I've heard it's a fucking beautiful place. I'm sure there's people out there from Kentucky listening right now. Hope to hear from me in the comments and confirm that.
Kentucky is
but from the
fucking
little
awesome.
bit that I do know about Kentucky, I do feel like there aren't a lot of people in Kentucky who are waking up every day concerned about the well-being of Israel. I don't think there's a lot of them. I think they're more concerned with, you know,
It's a bold take.
very bold take. I'm saying the well-being of Israel. I think they're much more concerned with how much groceries cost, like a normal fucking person is, or, you know, whether or not their grandkids are going to have an opportunity to live in a better country than they live in right now. And when they have a representative who has also been extremely public in trying to be one of the lone people exposing one of the largest scandals, bipartisan scandals, I might add, in both directions, bipartisans of people who are guilty and bipartisans of the voters who want to see the fucking truth about it. It's something everyone agrees on for the wrong reasons or the right reasons, respectively. Like, when they see that this guy who's trying to expose all that is the one that they're trying to run out of office,
Yeah.
I think that's a real black pill moment for the literal average person, including the older, less technologically inclined fucking boomer.
I want to think that too, but I that's the point I wanted to make. But halfway through making that point, I realized I'm wrong, because I've had this argument with my dad and people of my dad's age, the boomer class, about this, and it's like talking to a brick wall. They don't hear it. They don't hear it. It's that George Carlin thing we played yesterday. The George Carlin thing where he's talking about, remember the clip I texted you yesterday? He's talking about people with their ideas become their identity. And then when you start to attack their ideas, you're attacking who they are and their identity. And then it just dissolves into, you know, a dumber argument. So I think that's what it is. I think the older folks, or the people that aren't tapped into like independent media, it has become their identity. Yeah, watch that.
I agree with you. I think there's just more percentage in the past where it's not that way than there was 2 years ago.
Right. You need to click the audio button.
God, he was such a genius.
You've officially screwed yourself, because now it's not just an idea, now it's you. And when
Now
the
it's
idea
you.
gets
Yep.
challenged, you don't hear disagreement. You hear an attack.
Yep.
So what do? You build a bubble. A nice, soft, padded little bubble where everyone agrees with you, uses the same words, hates the same people, and claps at the exact right moments. And you will defend that bubble at all costs, even if it makes you sound incredibly stupid. Facts don't matter anymore. Logic's gone. Humor? Dead. Because admitting you're wrong would mean admitting you are wrong, and that's unacceptable. So you double down, louder, angrier,
Dumber.
And that's how you end up defending nonsense like it's sacred scripture. Not because it's true, but because without it, you'd have to actually develop a personality.
Yes. No,
He
he's
fucking
spot
nailed
on.
it.
Dude, he's spot on, and it's like, I'm telling you, one of the most freeing things ever is being able to say, like, wow, I've seen better evidence I was wrong. You know how many fucking, and I do it publicly, which is, you know, it's, I'm not just some fucking private person behind a keyboard that no one knows what it is. Like, when you're wrong, you're fucking wrong. And you can dig in and fucking stamp your feet and be like, no, I'm right. But like after enough time, people are going to be like, well, this guy's a fucking moron.
Yeah.
Go look at Ben Shapiro's views.
Mm-hmm.
People have seen through it.
Yeah.
Because he won't admit he's wrong. I have no sympathy for that.
Have you seen the on the subject of Thomas Massie? There was a thing on Twitter the other day where he was fighting with Dan Bongino. And then they showed the timestamps.
Them timestamps, baby.
Bongino was in Israel. You can't make it up, dude.
What happened to him?
You can't fucking make it up.
What happened to that guy? He looks like a broken fucking person.
Yeah.
Like split down the middle. Like just completely cracked. Like you just watched.
What do you think they did to him when he got in for the first day of work?
Man. But some and like I say I never liked the guy at all, not even a little bit. I always made fun of him.
Yeah.
But like I respected when he went in there that here you had a guy who was making millions of dollars, ranting and raving about the future of America to a bunch of people a little bit too close to the camera in that way for being that fucking angry with the vein at all times. And you know, he gave all that up for at least a short time to go make $100,000 or less or whatever and do a job where you're going to be constantly attacked because allegedly he wanted to walk the talk and I wasn't really sure what his qualifications were as it pertains to FBI. He was a Secret Service guy, but like I was like, all right, he's going in there and he's trying to clean up some of the system he's complained about for so long, and I respected that. And then he looked like a hostage while he was doing it. Every time that they would come out and do these interviews and he'd be sitting next to Cash, it's a whole separate issue, but you know, he would literally look like he looked like that meme of the kid who literally is about to explode with the vein in the forehead.
Yeah.
You know? And I said it with Mike Yeagley in episode 351 back in October. I'm like, that's the guy I'm watching because he's going to leave there. I didn't know it was going to be 2 months later, but I'm like, he will not last this full term. He's going to go back to private life.
Yeah.
And I want to see what he says when he does. And man, has he completely let me down.
Yeah.
Because first of all, he blocks everyone. I've never added the guy in my life.
Congratulations, you got blocked.
Yeah, he blocked me. I've never added him in my life. I just learned how to spell his name like a month ago. But like, you know, watching him simp for these outcomes, and then you see this latest one where he like tries to expose Thomas Massie. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, forget privately even. Publicly, this is one of the few people who's trying to expose the largest known fucking file intelligence arms dealing trafficking ring known to man. And that's the shit you used to complain about all day, righteously so, on your show. And now you've gone behind the big blue wall, you've come out from the other side, and you're going after this guy? Read the room. And so there's just, the cynic in me goes, something happened to him.
Yeah.
Someone said, hey, ain't nobody want to see these pictures of you. That's not me in the picture. It is if we say it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who those people are. I don't know what they're doing it for. That's all speculation, but
I wish Iran would hack that guy's hard drive. They got Cash. You see him doing the cucaracha?
Yeah. Listen, I'm never gonna go after someone for what's on there. What I will, what I will go after is how the fuck is the head of the FBI getting hacked? Like, it's embarrassing.
Exactly.
Like, it's just like, and he's winning every Vegas odd there is. Everyone's thinking he's got to be the first guy getting fired from the cabinet. Now we're like 2 down because Noam got fired and now Trump's apparently.
Christy Noam. I heard Bondi's going to get fired now.
That's what I'm saying. Bondi's now, at the time of this recording, reportedly about to get fired. Cash is still fucking swimming.
Now, why would they fire Bondi?
I mean, the Dow. The Dow is, she had to grab her notes. It said 50,000. She wanted to say dollars. It's not dollars, hun. You know, and she stopped herself. It says 50,000.
It's
the
not
Dow.
It's not dollars.
I've seen you, Raskin. You're a great trader, from what I hear. Like, shut the fuck up, bimbo. You're an attorney general. This isn't a fucking
Italian attorney general.
We don't claim her. All right, the Italian half of me, and I'm sure my 100% Italian people out there, like, hey, we don't claim her. You know, like, and she was doing some interesting stuff with the Church of Scientology back in the day.
I heard. Well, she took money from him.
Just saying, but
we need to give her an exorcism over
here.
Yeah,
like, what are you doing? It's just the last administration with Biden was a global embarrassment. Literally top to bottom. I mean, it was so in your face embarrassing that you were certain it was a play. You're like, this is a giant joke on everyone. Mm-hmm. And we're getting to the point for different reasons. They're different and the context is different, but where I'm getting the same feeling with this administration for wildly different reasons and different manifestations of how that happens. But like who the fuck are these people?
Right.
What? And I'm not sitting here like, yo, I got the solutions. You should have hired this guy. That I don't know. That's not my lane. I'm a fucking YouTuber. But like, even my dumb ass can look at this and be like, you know, maybe the lady who's gotten a new face since 2018 isn't the person you want to be running 45 fucking Homeland Security commercials with.
Yeah. They turn you into a lizard person when you get in there. They do something. They inject you with the lizard DNA, and there's no turning back. That's why I don't think it's a good idea for Tucker Carlson to run for president, nor Joe Rogan, nor anyone we love. Don't wish that upon them.
Yeah.
The president of the United States is not someone that you are ever going to revere. And if it's someone who's a good person, you have to assume it's going to turn them into a bad person.
Yes.
That's the way you got to look at it. Just look at the Dan Bongino model. Look at the Dan Bongino model. Everyone fucking loved him. He was calling out all the right things. As soon as he went behind the curtain and he came back out, he was a fucking demon. And I think the same thing would happen to, I don't think it would happen. I mean, I want to believe that it wouldn't happen with somebody like Tucker, because I don't want to believe that he's that type of person. But if he actually becomes president, you can't give him that. You can't give him that leeway.
Who exactly? You can't give it to anyone. Who's to say you don't get fucking, opposite date when you get back there?
Right.
Or they inject you with it and it's like the SpongeBob, everything's the opposite.
Yeah.
Like it's just, and it's all projection, what these people do. And it's really disheartening, And then you realize that
it's a house of cards.
Yes. Exactly.
Dude, I was watching another one of those Adam Curtis documentaries there. I watched it for the second time, the Hypernormalization, where the beginning of the documentary, it sets it up talking about New York City in the 1970s. And it talks about 1975, when all the middle class had left New York City and it had become just overrun with homeless, poor people, pimps, prostitutes, corrupt cops. And the politicians were having these monthly meetings with the banks, issuing bonds in exchange for loans to help pay all the expenses to run the city. And eventually one day, the banks didn't show up. They had a 9 a.m. meeting with the banks. The press was there. The politicians were there. They're all waiting. 9 a.m. comes. The banks aren't there. So they go, oh, we're rescheduling for 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock, the banks don't show up. They go, oh, we're rescheduling for 4 o'clock. Finally, at 4 o'clock, the banks come in and they say, we're not giving you your money. Mm-hmm. And that's when the banks took over from the politicians. And that's when the banks took control of New York City. Mm-hmm. And that's the same time Donald Trump came in and took advantage and made a deal with the banks to basically take all these overrun buildings. And what he used to do with his dad was basically turning out apartments, doing Section 8, that kind of stuff for like normal everyday people, like people who could actually afford to live in like a modest way, middle income type people. He said, I'm going to take all these things and I'm going to turn them into luxury buildings, hotels, that kind of shit. So that was the moment explained in the documentary, for what it's worth, that it went from being what it was before 1975 to what it is now, was when the banks took over. And then also Trump got like one of the biggest tax breaks in history at that point, was worth like $150 million because he worked out a deal with the banks to redevelop New York into this high society hub and redevelop all these buildings. And like everyone that was living there was in such despair. And now the same poor people that were living there in New York were now surrounded by like all this crazy wealth and fucking luxury resorts and hotels and shit everywhere. But like they were somehow stuck in the middle of it, and it didn't reflect their real lives. Right. And it started to become hyper normal. And he made that comparison with what was going on in the Soviet Union before it collapsed, how like everyone in the Soviet Union knew that society was falling apart. The government wasn't real. Their economy wasn't real. Everything was fucking coming apart at the seams, but they were just trying to get through the day and pretending like their lives were normal until all of a sudden it wasn't. Right. In 1991, when the Soviet Union fell. And it's so crazy because they draw that comparison with what was happening in Syria with Assad, how Henry Kissinger went over there and basically made the deal, and then he lied to Assad, and then that whole thing happened, and like basically created like the modern day terrorist. And it like that's what it feels like in the United States right now, because it feels like all the stuff that's coming out is like it's too crazy to be real, but we're like not really. I mean, us too, yeah, but even although we are talking about it, it's our job, which is very unusual. But most people are going through the day like trying to like ignore it because you have to. How else do you get through the day? How else do you go to your job and take care of your kids and, you know, feed your baby, whatever it is you do.
Exactly
it's like
right.
you have to ignore it. There's no way to be sane and function in this society.
But these same exact things that you have to ignore are the long-term kicking the can down the road over and over again problems that have created the bad realities that we have right now that are short-term trends that we have to fix that need to not become long-term trends, whether that is the fact that people have to make a fucking financial decision to have a child today, which is disgusting that is what it is, but that is a reality.
We need to get Julian Dorey some kids.
I look forward to
any takers out there. We got a sperm donor right here with great hair. We need some kids.
I don't have Danny Jones hair.
We can't go too much longer. We don't need Julian Dorey getting a robot fuck doll in the year 2027. We need.
There's a wide range between robot fuck doll and not having kids. But yes, I look forward to having a lot of kids with the right woman. Good genes, the whole bit. But
it'll be good for you.
You got to offset these genes. That's hard to do. So, either way, like, having kids should not in any way be a financial decision. It is.
Right.
The college system being set up as it has been and sold in the way that it has been sold and inflated in the way that it has been inflated to create this never-ending fucking uncancelable debt on so much of society that could have avoided it in many ways or did not at the very least get the value out of it that they deserve to get is fucking crazy. The expenses of everything, whether it's a house that you bought, like my grandparents bought a house for $21,000 or $20,000 in 1976 that they still have today. I don't know what it's worth. It's probably worth fucking millions.
I will not accept a penny less than 1 million.
Oh no, it's worth a lot more than that for sure. And I'm like, that's a whole generation that got to cash in on that and whatever. And you know what? I'm not even fucking faulting the boomers for what that became, but the fact that some of the power structures of boomers are the people who were in power who allowed to get it to this point to where someone, you can't even be in a position to buy. Like, I think about that all the time. Like, I'm doing pretty decently on YouTube. It's running a business, so as you know, there's enormous expenses. I also live in New York, so running the business there is more expensive for sure. I can't buy a fucking house. I don't have the money.
Your rent at your apartment is probably more than what I pay for this place.
Probably more, right? But like planning out your actual income and being able to do that and make that leap and get the place and have it and have the equity, like that's crazy. That's crazy. Now, I had no money 3 years from now, but so I can remember what that was like. And then I'm looking at the average income of the average American, which might have been above that for sure, because that was like at zero. But, either way, it's not much. And you look at neighborhoods they live in. Maybe some places a dollar goes a lot farther for sure. It probably goes a lot farther in Nebraska than it does in fucking Essex County, New Jersey, for sure. But either way, like that American dream of like house, white picket fence, family of four, decent school system, that's a whole separate thing. We just did a really cool podcast on I want to tell you about off air. That's dead right now. And it can be brought back to life for sure. But I think I'm at the point at this moment where like we have to admit that is dead, before we can actually go in there with the jaws of life. Because I think a lot of people out there, myself included for a long time, are floating along like, it's going to figure itself out. No, no. It's not. Like the ship has left the station and some things got to get fixed. Now, does that mean that like, and I understand why the Biden campaign wanted to do this when they came in, but does that mean coming in and saying we're going to cancel all college debt in one fell swoop is fair to all the kids that then had paid off their college debt that got nothing from potentially doing something like that? It's not. It's not. So you have to have some hard conversations here for sure. But like, does that mean that I don't feel bad for the kid who was half drunk signing a paper at 17 that didn't even know what a fucking dollar was, that said, you're going to pay fucking $180,000 for your gender studies degree and it's going to work. And now they're 30 and pissed off because they're still fucking $250,000 in debt now and it said 7% or whatever it is and they're never going to get out of it, never going to own anything. They hate their job. They hate their life. Like, of course I feel bad for that kid.
Yeah.
I was retarded when I was 25. What the fuck do you think I was when I was 17? You know, so like, there's some broken shit, and Tim Dillon just had a fucking amazing
everything he rants about every single week.
Oh, he's been
just
on fire,
pure gold.
Pure gold. But he had an amazing rant a few weeks ago.
Was it Jake Paul being the red heifer?
That was an amazing rant, but that's not the one I'm talking about. Like, I feel like the people in Kentucky, they're not going to vote for Jake Paul. They're not doing it. You know why? He doesn't even live here. Like, it was, shout out Tim, chef's kiss. But like, he had this
That's
rant.
the third temple. Jake Paul is the third temple.
and he's like friends with Jake Paul. That's the best part. He's like, yeah, we go way back, but I feel like he's not running for office.
That's the great thing about
Kentucky.
Tim too, is he doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't. You could be his friend. He turns down dinners with Peter Thiel just so he can talk shit about Peter Thiel on his show.
That's amazing. I love that and respect that. And I'm glad he's not friends with Peter Thiel. But like, you know, you should, but that's the job of like the brilliant comedians. We played the George Carlin clip. Like guys like Tim Dillon have pieces of that now where they're also the jester with serious cultural commentary done through an entertaining comedic lens, and we need that.
Yeah.
And it's like he had this one rant about the boomers accepting propaganda. I know you saw this one. And why they were okay with accepting their fucking 8 o'clock news for whatever it said, even if in the back of their head they're like, maybe that's not what I think, but I don't want to worry about it because they could pay their bills, they could get their house, they could have their fucking cake and eat it too. And now, like, I don't think it was the intention of boomers to feel this way on the average. It's not every boomer feeling this way, but on the average, the result though has been that the boomers are like the first generation in mankind that through their actions is not concerned about the world being a better place for their kids and grandkids, as opposed to every other generation that's come before them where that's like their sole reason for existence, trying to hope that the next generations have a better world. Again, I don't think the boomers, I mean, maybe, you know, your fucking drunk uncle does, but like most of the boomers, they don't actively think that like, yeah, I want the world to be worse for my kids, or I don't want it to be a better place. They're not thinking that. Like that's not what Tim's saying. He's making a funny joke out of it, but like the actions that have occurred and the passive attitude to allow control vectors of society to come in and just be like, you know what, I can pay my bills, I got my house, I got my equity, it's fine, it'll work itself out. That has allowed this to manifest to where now, again, we talked about those short-term versus...
It's that famous saying that Rogan always says, the good times create weak men, men create bad
100%.
Times, right?
100%. And who are the boomers? They're the prophets in the fourth turning.
Right, exactly.
They're that first generation that grows up in the boom, we just won everything, bitch, we're the champions, let's go, bang, 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 everything's
good times.
Happy, good times rolling. By the time we get to college, now we're going to start looking inward, but you know what? We're going to do it while we're on LSD and fucking out at Woodstock. You know what I mean? And so they have
looking inward. That's the key point.
And in 1969, we were still on the gold standard too. So they were still riding high on that. And they're like the surfer. You like surfing. They're the surfer that catches that way. I'm not doing that. I will not get you by a shark.
Joey Deef's ready.
Joey Deef can fucking do it. I don't have an insurance policy on him. So if he gets eaten,
man insurance on Joey Deef.
That's he gets eaten. I know he's out there like fucking
he's
videoing
watching,
it
laughing
and
his
listening
ass off right now.
Out in the
What's up? Shout out to Joey Deef.
Shout out producer Deef. But like out there in the Scarface Lounge, eerily in the center of this large echo chamber. It's a literal echo chamber out there that you have.
Thank you.
Like I was like walking around before you got here yesterday, like Danny Joe. But anyway, you know, what was I saying?
I forgot.
I don't remember.
I don't remember. Oh, fourth turning?
Yeah. So the prophets, like they were catching the wave in the surfer
wave,
game of
yeah.
life. Like, you know, when you're right there, because I did surf when I was a kid, contrary to your opinion.
Jersey has some of the best surf in the world.
Got great surf in Ocean City, New Jersey. But like when you see that wave and you're like, fuck, I got a paddle to get there, and you just catch it in time and then you rip it. But the guy who was like fucking 4 strides behind you missed it completely.
Mm-hmm.
The boomers are the people that caught that wave, and then Gen X started to miss it more, and then the millennials really started to miss it, and Gen Z is just fucked, you know? And then you wonder why there's anger, why there's indignation, why there's generational fighting, you know? And it's just symbolic, but we all know the famous...
The boomers, they weren't paddling for the waves, though. They were getting towed into the waves on jet skis.
Yes.
They had ski ropes, and jet skis were pulling them in. And now all the jet skis have run out of gas, and we have to learn to paddle again.
Yes. And they had their top China buffet right before going out there with a full stomach and didn't worry about throwing up, for sure. You know? But there's now a reaction to that. And when there was that famous leaked call with the Israel situation where you had, this is back in the end of 2023, where Jonathan Greenblatt, the head of the ADL, was on that leaked call going like, we've been fighting this left versus right game. Prime example of the black pill, by the way. That is not the battle here. We have a TikTok problem. We have a generational problem. And he was referring, of course, in this case to like the Israel situation and the popular opinion on that. But overall, go way beyond like foreign policy of it as it pertains to Israel and just look at everything. It's a generational gap.
Right.
It is less, you know, it may manifest in these left and right loud voices, and it certainly does. I'm not saying it doesn't, you know, but the generational problem is the bigger story to me.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Can I take a piss real fast?
Yeah, sure. We'll be right back. I saw yesterday on the news that this county, Pinellas County, the population here has been like cut by 1 million people in the last year. 1 million people. This used to be the second biggest county in Florida.
Left.
No. This is Pinellas is the number 2 most dense county in Florida.
Yeah.
Number 1 is Miami.
Right.
And this is number 2. Actually, it might be backwards. This might be number 1. And Miami might be number 2.
But people are leaving?
What are the most population dense counties? But yeah, I saw something that said 1 million people have left this county and probably all counties in Florida over the last year or something like that.
Why?
I'm not sure why. It might have something to do with like the residual people that came down from New York after the pandemic or just going back up north.
It's Pinellas.
Pinellas County is the most population dense county in Florida with over 3,400 people per square mile due to its largely developed peninsula. Yeah. While Miami-Dade has the highest total population in general, Pinellas holds the highest concentration, followed closely by Broward.
Yeah, before I knew you and Matthew B. Cox, I had always been on the east coast of Florida. I've been coming to Florida all my life, but never hit the west coast. It's a great area.
The west coast is fire.
I love the east coast. The west coast has a different vibe too. Mm-hmm. It's like,
there's different, but you get a completely different experience in every single part.
Yep.
You go to Jacksonville, you get a unique experience. You go to Orlando's cool. They got nice golf courses and shit, but mostly known for like Disney or whatever. Right. Then you come here. It's great. You got great wildlife here. You got some of the best fucking seafood here, the best fishing here. Yep. You have the Everglades. You have the Keys. Have you been to the Keys?
I've never been. My cousin Becca loves it down there.
Florida Keys are like the Twilight Zone, bro. It's a completely different universe. And then you have Miami, which is like hell on earth.
I love Miami.
Yeah,
I can't spend like more than 3-4 days there at a time because I feel like you're gonna leave with a criminal record.
Well, it's kind of like Vegas. Like the best 2 days is going to Miami. The day you get there, and the day you leave.
Well, all right, I think that's a little much, but I like I love Miami.
It's gross now. It used to be. It used to be great.
Where's it gross?
Downtown. Wherever we were. We were in downtown Miami.
I've really never spent
the last couple times I've been there. It's just been trashed.
I spend time on South Beach.
Litter everywhere.
Yeah,
South Beach is a little different.
Yeah.
South Beach is nice.
South Beach is cool.
South Beach is nice. Yeah. Great breakfast, great restaurants.
Great restaurants.
Yeah. It's kind of like stuck in the 90s.
Sure.
You know,
I think
a little
that's
bit
a
of
good
it's like a 90s vibe, kind of old school. Yeah. Not a lot of chains.
What's that private island that Peter Thiel and Tom Brady live on? You know what I'm talking about?
In Florida?
Is that a part of South
Key
Beach?
Biscayne?
That sounds familiar.
I have a friend who lives on Key Biscayne.
Yeah.
My buddy who films all those movies with, who filmed all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Oh yeah, the Pete Zuccarini.
Yeah. He lives on Key Biscayne.
That's one of my favorite podcasts you ever did.
On the island?
Podcast on the island and on the boat.
Yeah.
That was pure cinema.
We literally jumped in the bay, in Biscayne Bay, and we were like swimming around, filming all the fish and stuff like that.
See, Danny Jones is a humble guy, everybody, but like this dude was trained by the #1 underwater cinematographer of all time and he's responsible for the entire movie Dolphin Tale. Like,
I am 100%
him.
responsible for that movie.
Like, he was down there swimming with Morgan Freeman. Like, no, I need you to the left. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember I was thinking about this the other day when I was, one of the days we were filming that, I was sitting on the side of the set with his stand-in, because Morgan Freeman wasn't always there. He'd be sleeping in a chair off in the corner, but his stand-in was this shorter guy who looked just like him, who didn't have a fake hand. And he was standing there one day, and I remember I cracked a joke or something like that. He was standing right there, and I forget what the joke was. And he looks at me, and everyone was laughing, and he was not laughing. And he looks at me, he goes, "Are you being facetious?" And I was like, "What?" I didn't know what the fuck facetious meant. I was like, I had never heard that word in my life. I thought he was talking shit. And they were like, Danny, go get us coffees. Go.
Get back underwater. Throw the goggles on. Oh, man, that's good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but like Pete, he did, what'd he do? Life of Pi, all the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Wow, I forgot about that. Yeah, he did all the Pirates
like the
movies, Life of Pi. Yeah, he did
Dark Into the Blue, right? With Jessica Alba.
Yep, he did Into the Blue with Jessica Alba. And who's the other guy?
Paul Walker.
Paul Walker, the klepto.
The what?
I heard someone told me that he might have been a kleptomaniac, but I
thought I wasn't allowed to talk about that. I just brought that up on a podcast with Deef. I'm like, hey, I got this one off camera.
Yeah,
that kind of broke my heart.
I've heard crazy stories about Paul, but great guy, friend of the show.
Jessica Alba still got it though, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Bro.
What was I going to say? Oh no, Pete also did the most recent Avatar movies. He filmed all the fucking Avatar movies.
He's goated.
Yeah,
that's next level.
Pretty incredible life, dude. When your life is just literally building submarines for video cameras. Oh, dude, he also did the fucking the Harmony Korine Beach Bum with Matthew McConaughey. Have you ever seen that one?
No. Can we pull this up? The
Show
Harmony
him
Korine Beach Bum?
So you know who Harmony Korine is?
No.
Harmony Korine's a director. He did Gummo. He did Spring Breakers. He did Beach Bum.
Spring Breakers. Okay.
He's like a legendary sort of like indie, like weird filmmaker. One of my favorite filmmakers.
Deep's like, what the fuck?
Well, I got my bubble popped about him, dude. So let me tell you a crazy story about Harmony Korine before you play this.
Oh, that's
Harmony
the Red Band
Korine
trailer.
was one of my all-time like top tier guests I wanted to have on this show. He lives in Miami. I know people who know him.
Yeah.
I know people who are friends with him. And I've had them trying to lobby for me for years. I always wanted to get him on the show. We finally got a response from him. We got one of our mutual friends got me his email, and Steve emailed him, and he responded with a response that on one hand broke my heart, and on the other hand made me respect him more than I could ever have imagined. His response was, Steve, thank you for your email. I could not be more uninterested in doing his podcast.
Hey, look, I appreciate
I
the
like
honesty.
him even more now.
I appreciate I like people that are direct like
This
that.
is the Beach Bum. We probably get copywritten for this. We'll have to
And
cut
it's
this
also
out.
the Red Band trailer, just heads up. But
And it's like one of those movies where it's not like he doesn't edit it like a movie. He edits it like one of those films that are not edited. It's like just this long, never-ending, no cuts, really. It's just kind of like this free-flowing narrative.
like that.
You know what I mean? It's so unique. But I found out, one of my guests, Travis Kitchens, told me, he goes, did you know Harmony Korine donated millions of dollars to the IDF? I was like, no.
he was doing so well.
He was doing so good.
He was doing so well.
It's no wonder he said he could not be more disinterested in doing
He
my
looked at the guest
podcast.
list.
But
Pulls up a clip of Kiriakou.
He's a fucking legend, dude. There's a story that he was on David Letterman in the 90s, I think, for Gummo, his first hit movie. He was going on David Letterman and something happened. What happened in the green room where basically they kicked him off the set? They caught him in the green room, like fucking going through somebody's purse and like doing a bunch of blow or something like that. And
very Paul Walker of him.
Yeah. And then they kicked him off the set of David Letterman. Legend. Highly recommend The Beach Bum. And he just did. His new movie is actually all shot in. It's shot. Remember we were showing this the other day. It's shot in like night vision or something. Night vision, dude. He's like redefining what it means to like make movies. Like,
I like that.
He's
We
like
need it.
on the cutting edge, like just trying out the most insane new shit with his cameras and like how he shoots his movies, and still able to get like A-list fucking people in there.
Well, we need that too because there's been such a step back with quality films.
Find the thing for his new movie too.
There were a few good ones last year, but that was like the first time in a while where I'm like, ooh, wow. All right, there's a few options here that are like really well done, but
yeah,
you know, that medium of create a 2.5 hour movie to tell a full story in a world where people are getting used to 10 episode, 12 episode seasons that are 5 seasons long, where you get to really know the nitty gritty ins and outs of a character. It's tough.
Yeah. Look, this is what his new movie looks like. You don't even have to play the audio; just like show what it looks like. And it's shot in 4:3. It's not even. Like,
is that Travis Scott?
Yeah, Travis Scott, dude.
Wow. I don't even know what to say to that.
No, I know, right?
It's interesting.
It's just mind blowing.
Yeah, good for him.
It's the type of shit that just like sort of breaks your brain because you've never seen anything like it before.
That's right. You got to try things.
We should start doing the podcast like this. Oh, this is called thermal.
Infrared.
Infrared. Yeah. There you go. Like those drones that sucked up the airplane into the wormhole.
How was John the other day, by the way? You just had him in here.
He was great.
You have fun as always?
He was as good as always, man.
Your podcasts with him are always classics.
Like I told you, we sat down and he did the first 45 minutes telling me this crazy story.
Oh, the one you can't
for like 30 to 45 minutes. And then I'm like, that was awesome, John. Don't tell me we can't put that on there. It's like, you can't put it on there.
That's the thing. Like, as nuts as the things you hear him talk about on camera are, the stuff that's we hear off camera is bonkers. It's like in the last one we had our audio guy in there as well, who comes in to check out the audio sometimes when we have like something wrong with like the little static or whatever. And so at the end, John went on one of those rants after we were done with one of those stories, and Phil was just the audio guy.
Well, he gave you a scoop on your podcast. I'm like, John, you better not be coming in here without a fucking scoop.
No,
he's like, oh, sorry.
Unfortunately, that aged well. He was upset about that when it came through the door. He was obviously, but he was 195% right about it. He was off by about 3 days, but you know, I knew when first of all, I thought it was going to be one of those. We're talking about when John was basically saying the Iran war was a go and that they were on board, and this was a week before it happened. But he thought it was going to be Monday or Tuesday, and that was the one part I kind of, even before camera, I was like, he's got the State of the Union Tuesday. I feel like he ain't going in Monday or Tuesday, and Trump cares too much about the markets to do that. But he might have done it because when we got off air that day, that Friday, February 20th, the fucking Mike Huckabee with Tucker interview dropped, and he caused that huge fucking problem saying, Israel could have the whole Middle East for all I care. And then suddenly, like, even Saudi Arabia was calling up the White House like, what the fuck? You know, the U.S. ambassador to Israel saying that is crazy. But so maybe he would have gone in on Monday or Tuesday, but I still think it probably would have been the next weekend. Either way, I thought it was going to be one of those where he's like, I can't talk about that, because he literally walked through the door and explained the source, the whole bit. He was just pissed off. And he's like, I want to do it on camera. And I was like, what? Are you sure about that? He's like, yeah, I am.
I think so. I'm John Kiriakou,
I'm like,
I'm here to fuck shit up.
We'll do the podcast, and then at the end, we'll do that. And then, yes, that was my favorite
By the way,
intro.
we're going to start this podcast with one of those. We're gonna have Julian walk through the door and be like, "I'm Julian Dorey, and I'm here to fuck shit up."
No, that was one of my that intro edit was one of my favorites that I've done in a while because it just like click. You have him and me going back and forth about like if you were gonna fake Epstein's death, how would you do it? And then it just drops into John on the fucking steady cam or the vertical cam, like, "Hello, I'm John Kiriakou, and I'm here to fuck shit up." And he just turns around and slams the door into the darkness.
Yeah, I thought that you convinced him there, but then I asked him yesterday. I was like, "So do you think Epstein could possibly be still alive?" He goes, "No chance."
I haven't talked to him about the latest stuff I've seen because we recorded that before I did this other stuff.
Right.
That's
It
another
is
thing.
odd the photographer was there.
That's another thing about John. John will, as you know, he will change his mind on things when he's presented with better evidence for sure. And he will talk about it on air. Yeah. So I do want to see what he says when I go through some of this stuff with him.
What was, speaking of Saudi Arabia, what was this latest thing that happened with, like, they did a deal with the Ukraine? Did you see that?
What? Can we
That
pull
might have
this
been
up?
that might have been a fake Twitter thing, but apparently half the shit I see on Twitter is fake.
It's more
I
than
see these
half.
fake stories, and I got to scroll down to see what Grok says. But there was something I saw that said MBS went behind Trump's back and did a deal with the Ukraine or something like that.
All right, let's see what this is. I don't
Yeah,
know
see what we
nothing
can
about
find,
nothing with
Steve.
that.
He's gonna look it
Because
up.
that's the thing. Everyone overlooks Ukraine. It's like people are fucking dying there every day. Still, all these years later. And it's like, oh, yeah, that one.
Ukraine announces a mutually beneficial deal with Saudi. When was this posted? Is there a date?
This is March 26th.
Okay, so Kyiv, which has built expertise on how to counter drones, seals pact amid Iran war.
Scroll down. What's the first thing? Ukraine says it signed a defense agreement with Saudi Arabia as Gulf countries continue to come under Iranian attack in the United States and Israel's war in Iran. Volodymyr Zelensky, who arrived in the kingdom on Thursday, said on X that an important arrangement has been made ahead of the meeting with the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. What does that mean in English?
Well, it means that this is the first I'm seeing it.
But what I saw was that on X was that Trump they did it behind Trump's back without Trump's like seal of approval or whatever.
He's lost a lot of leverage. He's lost a lot of leverage, especially with the Gulf states, and deservedly so. Because did you watch his statement last night?
I did not. No.
Don't.
I'm not going to.
Complete waste of arrows.
I
Basically,
refuse.
someone tweeted it out perfectly. They said, I forget who it was, so shout out to whoever it was. Sorry, I can't remember. But they're like, basically, it was just a chronological re-speaking of his Truth Social tweets over the past 2 weeks.
That's what it always is.
But this one was particularly monotone, boring, and said a whole lot of nothing about nothing when they stopped every major channel to cut to the fucking thing. And like the whole wink, wink, shadow, I'm calling it a
31st.
military whatever instead of a war, when then he goes in the next interview and says, I got to check in on the war. It's so weird, man. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. And like,
and what about? Oh, continue. I don't. That question was going to derail everything. That was going to send us down a rabbit hole we're not going to get out of.
all right, well, hold that thought. 'Cause let's go down that
I'm
rabbit
glad
hole in a
I
minute.
bit my tongue there.
But like, I really only have one thought here, which is that no one who actually understands something about the situation, not all the details, but just something, is arguing that like the Islamic regime, the IRGC, is great. That's not what it is. They're terrible. They hurt their own people. That's demonstrated, even with some of the propaganda against them, for sure, where it's exaggerated. Like, they are what they are. This has been an awful regime for 47 years. But like, they've been a paper tiger again and again and again, and it's not our job to go play world police for other people.
They're
It's
killing
just
people.
not.
That's what the biggest argument is when I talk to my parents. When I say, like, they say, how many Americans have they killed? I'm like, I don't know how many Americans they killed. When they go, how many of their own people have they killed? Like, okay, they're literally trying to do a coup against their government, and we're telling them to rise up and coup their government. What happens when America tries to rise up and do a coup over their government?
Boom.
What does the American government do?
How about
they kill people?
How about Scott Bessent running around Davos, the Treasury Secretary, back in
guy's fucking
January,
freaky, dude.
fucking bragging about all the sanctions he's putting on Iran, which was going to send their currency to zero and put the people in the streets to rise up against the regime, in which case the
And they knew it
regime,
was
which
gonna
is
happen.
totalitarian, is therefore going to kill a bunch of these people, and it'll cause a problem that'll be beneficial to the United States. And it's like, so if you load the bullet for the psycho, are you innocent?
Right.
I don't think so. That doesn't sound like a good guy statement. That sounds like someone who is very happy to be complicit in lives being lost if it means that, you know, we can get a little financial gain here, which, by the way, how's that worked out, Scott?
How weird is it? Maybe not weird at all that Scott Bessent used to work for George Soros.
Who?
Bessent.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he was on the fucking board of directors for his like main foundation.
How did I not know this?
Google it. Type in Scott Bessent, George Soros connection or whatever, and it'll tell you all about it.
Also, the problem with George,
He's everywhere.
Scott, he's fucking everywhere.
Fucking
You can't
tied
get
to
away
everything.
from
Tied to
him.
Mondani.
He's tied to everybody, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, he's tied to some of the same, like, you know, in some weird way, like a typical Southern right-wing Republican who's railing against George Soros, and like somehow there's something that's within them that he's in, and they may not, in their defense, they might not even know it.
Right.
But it's impossible to get away from. Wow. Oh, he sounds like
Worked
a
for
wonderful
George
guy.
Soros for decades, most notably as the partner and chief investment officer at Soros Fund Management.
That's not backdoor at all. That's right through the front door.
He helped orchestrate the 1992 bet against the British pound,
Yep.
Black Wednesday. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
It was a currency war, if I'm remembering that one correctly.
And later launched his own firm with $2 billion in backing from Soros in 2015.
Chief investment officer from 2011 to 2015,
And
running
how
the
about
firm's
that
London office.
video, dude? The video of him doing the interview and then walking away to go meet Trump in that meeting.
I want to know what the fuck they saw in there.
What was that?
I want to know what the fuck they saw in there. But like, you know, it's tough to, like, what do you even know what's real and what's not from over there in this AI era? We've already seen this with the Ukraine war, where we don't know what's real and what's not. Now it's on a whole different level. What's clear is that there's some severe reverberations that are happening around the world that we can see, particularly economically as well, to where it's like, oh no, this isn't going exactly how they planned. But like, what does it look like? I'm not entirely sure. I'm not going to sit here and say every video I watch, I'm like, that's definitely real. I don't know. Like you were saying, I'm a guy in a seat in America. You know what I mean? I'm not in the fucking situation room.
Yeah.
But like, what did Scott see on March 13th when he was pulled out of that meeting? I would love to know, because he was fucking spooked. I enjoyed him being a little spooked, by the way. I didn't enjoy what it could possibly mean, though. You know, because it could be a litany of things.
And then he went on to say something about his children going to
He
fight.
would trust them.
He would trust
He
his
would trust this president
to
with
send
the
his
lives of
daughter.
children, with his son, I think.
I think he said daughter too.
Yeah. Oh, maybe
I could be wrong.
He's like, my son is coming to the age. He's
Who
thinking about
says
military
that?
ser-" It was so weird, bro.
Who fucking says something like that?
He's such a fucking. He's a weirdo. Apparently, isn't he the guy that like knocked out Elon Musk? Like got in a fist fight with him. Remember, Elon
was that
had the
him?
black
That was
eye?
the guy?
I think it was Scott
Bessent?
Bessent. I know. I didn't see that in him. He didn't. He doesn't look.
By the way,
like
did you see that rocket launch yesterday?
Bro, I did. I thought everyone was playing an April Fool's
So did
joke
I.
on me. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Then my mom called me about it. I was like, oh, wow.
I would love to know from NASA, was there a technical reason that they couldn't do it on April 2nd? Like, why did they have to do it on April 1st? Other than the most obvious fact is that it's all bullshit. We never went to the moon in the first
Well,
place.
let's get Jesse Michaels on the case. That's my answer. Jesse,
He's the guy. He's tapped
I know
in like
you're
no
out
one
there
else.
listening. Go
Shout
find out, buddy.
Shout out to Jesse. Find out why they fucking had to do that on April Fools.
I know.
And you see the toilet broke on the rocket too? They broke the toilet. Now they're fucking flying around in their own shit up there.
The toilet's broke.
The toilet
They
broke,
don't have
dude.
a backup plan for that?
They're up there in anti-gravity flying around dodging turds.
Oh, those poor people.
Yeah.
I mean, it is their lifelong dream.
Yeah.
And they're
What were you looking up? Were you looking up something?
Steve's scheming back there.
Oh, what's this? Oh, no, this is different. This is the fucking... Okay, so this guy is saying...
That's not a toilet.
This guy... No. This is a different thing. This guy is saying that the fucking astronauts escaped the rocket right before. Look, full screen that.
Oh, Oh no. Oh no.
That's the fucking
No.
That's the thing that goes down the zip line.
This is why we can't have nice things. This is why we can't have. I mean, that could be the janitor about to get 47 cruise missiles.
If you're gonna fake it, you don't have to put them in there in the first place.
Yeah.
Like nobody knows if they're in there or not. If you're gonna fake it, don't even put them in there.
You don't know.
But yeah, I was walking into the grocery store looking in the sky to see if I could see the rocket, but there was too many clouds. 10 days.
It is crazy though, Danny Jones. This war's been going on for 5-6 weeks, 5.5 weeks, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it has done the job. It has buried much of the Epstein files for sure. Deef and I are holding on
Back to
like
the
fucking
Stone Age.
like fucking Tom Hanks hanging out on the island, clinging to life in fucking, what was that movie with Wilson? Castaway.
Castaway. Yeah.
We're just like one of the last frontiers talking about Epstein. And it's why, because like you knew it when they were you had to do this right now. Right now.
Yeah.
Right when you're in the middle of all this shit and the Dow's below 50,000 because you're blowing all this.
Remember the days when we were worried about just putting the word Epstein in a title
Demonetized right away.
on YouTube?
Right away.
Full 180.
By the way, this is one thing I will give the Trump administration huge credit for that still holds to this moment. And when it changes, I'll shred them. But like, there is no doubt that one of the issues that did see a 180 that we can clearly see across most topics, at least, is open dialogue online.
Yep.
It has, I'm not just talking X, I'm talking on all the platforms. Like, there are
100%.
things, Instagram's
Night
feed
and day.
is run by things that like 2 years ago, what you would have been banned into Kingdom fucking Come.
Yeah.
For putting on. And a lot of it's comedy, by the way, which I like. But, you know, that is certainly one thing that has been a positive that I don't, you know, if it's a Kamala Harris administration, I don't think that happens. I don't.
So the question I was going to ask you that's going to send us down a fucking
let's do it. I've been waiting. Third act. Let's go.
We're 2.5 hours into this.
We are?
Yeah.
No, we're not. Get out of here.
What do you make of Steve Bannon the other day saying Netanyahu's kid should get sent to Iran? They took a video of Netanyahu's kid walking around his fucking balcony
Miami.
of his Miami apartment or fucking whatever.
Like I said, Danny.
Penthouse suite.
Danny Jones, I call it like I see it. W. Steve Bannon on that one. And I'm the president, longtime president of the Steve Bannon Hate Club. But he's 100% right about that. Like that.
No, I know. But it's not, nothing's making sense with this dude. With Steve Bannon. With the things he says publicly and the things that we know that he's done and been a part of and people that he's been like all of the emails with him and Epstein, all of his connections to Israel, all of that shit. Like, what the fuck is this guy? He's a fucking anomaly. Yeah, we don't need to see it.
It's a Steve Bannon. Oh, when I broke the news to Kurt Metzger, this was one thing Kurt actually didn't know. Like, very rare for Kurt Metzger to not know something. But when I broke the news to him that Steve Bannon was like the chief financier for Seinfeld, the hat.
He didn't know that?
The hat and glasses came off. And he was just like, oh my God, I can't believe what I'm hearing right now. I'm re-questioning my whole life. I'm like, oh yeah. No, I don't think it affected the content if we're being fair, but maybe. I don't know. I fucking love Seinfeld. But, you know, guys like Steve Bannon, in my opinion, at least at some, first of all, the start of the opinion is we don't even know past the ground surface of what it really is. It could be a lot of different things, a lot of decision tree possibilities. But at the ground surface, he's a chaos agent. Whatever his end goals are, I don't know. Because it's, like you said, it's all over the place. One day it's one thing, the other day it's like, that's a counter narrative. But like...
What is the purpose of a chaos agent?
I genuinely don't mean this to answer it like an asshole, but someone to sow chaos into the conversation who has a voice at the table of the people that listen that you seek to control. And so with a guy like him, I think if you could just spread narratives and get people to be religious, like George Carlin was talking about these narratives, you can then change them without people knowing. You just turn the dial, like you were saying with the 180 at the drop of a hat.
You get them married.
And yes, they'll follow you like a cult leader. And that's the thing. Cult is the root of the word culture, which again, that's kind of stretching, it's like saying like history is like his story, man. It's not quite like that as far as I know. Check me in the comments on that. But like Steve Bannon's a guy who has been obsessed with culture in his whole life. And he's a very smart guy. I will never take that from him. He's a brilliant man. But like, here's a guy who one of his main calling card quotes is like, politics is downstream from culture, meaning it's not top down politics to culture, it's culture to politics. And that led into the era of like Donald Trump winning, which was the prime example of that coming to fruition, where you had the fucking reality TV star, celebrity real estate guy winning the highest office in the land, and I don't know what the end goals are for that for Steve. I don't know who he works for. I've just always been very confident since I read Henry Abbott's work in 2021. We've discussed this many times over the years.
We talked this on the first podcast.
Yep. I've been confident, and that aged really well, that March 2022 recording you and I did where we talked about this. Like, I just know Steve Bannon is involved with intelligence. I didn't need to see the Epstein files to know, and again, that's an opinion. Like it's my opinion,
right.
But like I think now I have a lot of evidence to be even more than I had in the past to be able to back it up. He finds his tentacles in the middle of everything, everywhere, all at once over a 3 to 4 decade period, perfectly timed with all different types of things that happen in culture. Happens once, coincidence. Twice, maybe a coincidence. 3 times, it's getting interesting. 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 times. Culminating with you getting an office right next to the Oval Office in the White House as the chief advisor to the president. This is the guy financing Seinfeld 25 years before.
Yeah. It's just strange. It's just strange. Like, I told you there was a couple nights when those Epstein files first came out where I was sitting on my laptop combing through all of the emails on Gmail like I was Game of Thrones. Yeah. And I read like fucking 300 emails from Bannon. And the first 150 were Epstein just chasing him down, stalking him. Yes. Are you going to be in Miami? Are you going to be in Lauderdale? Are you going to be in New York? I'm in New York. Where are you? Can we meet? Can you meet me here? Bannon, dodging him, ducking and dodging him at every fucking turn for like the first few hundred emails for years. Like literally like going out of his way to like Epstein sent him 6 emails. Bannon responds with one-word email. That's how it was. And like, what's funny? It doesn't make sense. Like why, if he was literally like, if they were that tight and they were working together that much and Epstein was the one that was like in charge and had all this power and was manipulating things, why is Epstein chasing him down like he's some prize?
Because I think Epstein, this is pure spec right now, as Steve and I say, but I think Epstein saw the potential of the world crashing in on him. I think he saw that the puck might not be going to the corner of the ice that he always thought it would be. And I believe, let's go back to what Tucker Carlson described this as, the system of the Supra-government. Supra, S-U-P-R-A. I love this.
Like shadow government.
Yes, but he layered it perfectly.
Right.
The layer of world leaders like the president, prime ministers of other powerful countries, etc., and the leaders of industry who are the ones who directly finance them that we can see. Society always assumed that was the top layer. And what Tucker was saying is not only is it not the top layer, there's actually 2 layers above it. The layer at the top is the people who really run the world, the banking families and stuff like that. I think the Rothschilds and the people that are very actually quietly in the shadows financing everything. And then the layer in between them is the fixer class, which is filled with very powerful, very wealthy people who you would think are just floating along in what is the third class, paying for the politicians or whatever. But really, they just work for the top class, the banking class, on their behalf. They're the Mike Ehrmantraut Walter White thinks he's God until Mike Ehrmantraut shows up in his fucking Lincoln Town Car and looks at him like he has 10 heads and says, here's what you're going to do, Malaka.
Right.
Because he actually works for Gus Fring, who is the banking families, right? So these people live under the illusion that they have power. And so there's people that we can see directly what class they're in, and Epstein clearly was in the fixer class. And then a guy like the president, like Trump, is clearly in the third class right there. But then there's other people where it's like you could make the argument for all three, actually, like a Bill Gates. I could make the argument for each layer for Bill Gates. I'm not really sure where that lands. Steve Bannon's another one that I'm not entirely sure, but I do lean towards he was also in the fixer class.
Really?
And so if he's in the fixer class and Epstein, who's in that class as well, sees the world crashing in on him a little bit, and here's a fixer who was riding high at that time. He had just put the guy in the fucking White House, was floating around the world, had a very public name, had a lot of people behind him who would believe anything he said. If I'm Epstein, he's my PR guy. He's a guy I want to get on his side. I'm not playing a left-right game, but I'll use it if I got to use it. And, this is spec. I don't know. But that, to me, that also stood out, like how he was really trying to get around him. And he would brag about this. There's a story that got wiped from the internet. There's been a lot of this. We've talked about this before. We talked about it in 2022. We were on the show. I was talking about how Page Six got wiped in the archives over the years. But there was a story where Epstein... The person writing the story, I think, had interviewed Epstein in 2017 or 2018, I can't remember, right after the weekend that he spent with Bannon, where he was bragging about going on camera with Bannon for 18 hours, which now we've only seen, 2, 3, 4 hours of it? But there's apparently at least 14 to 16 other hours, if probably more than that, but that we know of, that's at least been reported by Jeffrey Epstein in the past with his own mouth. I wish I could find that article. It's gone, but it was there.
What publication was it?
I don't remember, but
But you remember it was Page Six.
I remember that's a different one, because Page Six archives some stuff as related to sightings and people who's hanging around and things like that. The O2 flight time as well. I think that article was hidden for a while, but this one was another article. I was reading it 4 or 5 years ago, and I cannot for the life of me find it today. But there's an email, I think it wasn't a text, I'm pretty sure it was an email, where Bannon and Epstein are going back and forth once they now have a relationship, to where Bannon says, you have a jihad against you, the likes of which I've never seen, and I've really seen some shit.
Yeah.
And now he's clearly talking from a character cleanup PR perspective with Jeffrey. And to me, I think it was like, what's a good example in the real world among us that I could make here? But it's like when... I'm trying to think of like an athlete example. Oh, you know what? It's like this. When an athlete has been really great and they're starting to get a little older and maybe they're losing their fastball a little bit, and their buddies who are from their same era who are still great are playing on a team, and they're like, you know what? I want to come join your team now. Like kind of like Carmelo went to the Lakers to play with LeBron.
Right. Or
something like that, to try to kind of hang on there. I think that's where Epstein was at. And he viewed Bannon as like a LeBron at that time. And I think he was probably correct to do that. And again, the best I can do is speculate here, but
he's got such an interesting history.
Yeah, Steve has been, you want to talk about a Forrest Gump? He has been the Forrest Gump of culture, and where culture clashes with political ideology and society since the 80s. And again, shout out to Henry Abbott, who I just recorded with. That episode is probably out now when this is coming out, but I'm not sure. It'll be out right around the same time. He had this, man. And you and I have talked about this for years. He had this in 2021. He's the one that really officially full-blown blew the whistle on Steve Bannon for me, because he made all these connections, and then there were a couple connections I was able to make through other people after that as to places Steve Bannon had been. And I was like, holy shit, man. Like, you don't get into all those situations unless you're a part of it. I'm sorry. You don't. And he's not an idiot. The only other explanation is that he's just the most useful idiot of all time who happens to provide value at all these places where he shows up to be a useful idiot. And that's not a good explanation. It's an insult to my intelligence.
Right. And if he's got so much money, why the fuck is he still doing a daily podcast talk show?
And totally
and with
ignoring
Matt Cox running ads in the middle of it. Title lock.
Oh, and he's just totally ignoring the situation.
Yeah,
which is what he's done since.
Yeah, he is.
Since that's why I brought that up in 2022 with the documentary. I'm like, he brought this out himself and said he's going to release this big documentary, and then now he won't do it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
when people ask about him, he's like, yeah, we're going to do it eventually. And here we are 4 years later. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to do it. He's not even saying that anymore. It's
Right.
just gone.
Right,
It's like,
right.
don't worry about it. Remember that thing I showed you? Look over here now. It's not there anymore.
Yeah.
And again, like the people that are still buying that are people that are just lost in their ideology, and he speaks their language and all that. But this is a master cultural and media manipulator, and kudos to the skills. But I've just always, I've said it for years off air with you. You can vouch for this. I think he's not a guy that I'm jealous of people that they're in the room with him. I'll put it that way. You know what I mean? Like, I remember you like floating like, hey, what if I got Steve Bannon on? I'm like, don't give him my fucking number.
What happened if you saw him in an elevator?
I would fucking get off at the nearest floor and go to take the stairs, which I know he's not taking.
Yeah.
He don't look like he's taking a lot of stairs in his life.
Yeah. He seems to
that
be
stair
like,
master.
he can't pin down like who he works for.
I can't.
Yeah.
I've had thoughts before, and then it's like you don't. But again, like, who did Jeffrey Epstein work for? I mean, Dave Smith, I'm not even saying he's right, but he had a great tweet right after this came out where he's like, I used to think Jeffrey Epstein worked for Mossad, and now I wonder if Mossad worked for Jeffrey Epstein.
Right.
I don't think it's that simple. I don't think they worked for him, but like there was a partnership here. And also he had clear involvement, more than I previously realized, with CIA for sure.
Yeah.
I'm very confident in that at this point, that the evidence is showing that. But like, yeah, obviously he had the longest relationship with Mossad, and there's something very weird and foul there. And I mean, the whole thing's foul. But like, you know, you don't know if the world is like this thing or that thing. And like we've joked about Andy Bustamante always, saying whatever to all this stuff over the years, and now he's doing that less publicly. Even before, like, he did this thing on the Discovery Channel where he's going to wildly the other end. We've seen him at least like break with some small foundations, which I'll give him publicly over the last year or so with some things. But like, I was talking to him off air when I was out there, and I forget how he said it. He said it kind of perfectly, but he was like, so Andy, matter of fact about it, but he's like, yeah, the two wildest days at CIA, I'm paraphrasing here, were the day you found out how the world really works and the day you found out how you could exist within it. Something like that. And he's like, that first day is a tough day, man. And he kept drinking his coffee and went on and talked about something different, like as if it didn't really affect him. But like, then you hear stories about like John Kiriakou talking about when David Rockefeller comes in.
Yeah.
To
back channel with fucking Saddam Hussein.
Yeah. You're going to get a bomb up your ass if you don't come back. And
yeah,
it's like,
we forget history.
There it is, man. There it is. And again, I've said this a million times, like on different podcasts I've recorded, but I'll keep saying it because it needs to be said. There are things in the past that people presented that I thought either didn't have evidence at all or had bad evidence, that I now will go to those people and say, I don't even care if you didn't have evidence or not. Just like on the surface, you were more right than wrong about that. Or there is at least a good chance or a decent chance you're going to be right about some things that I would have previously, in my fucking wishful thinking, hoped were fucking insane.
Right.
But like, you see these emails, you see them talking about pizza, you see them talking about jerky, you see them talking about grape soda.
Right.
They're not talking about the fucking food. What they're talking about is still up for debate, but it's dark.
Yes.
It's dark, and I will say it. You want to talk about quacking like a duck, walking like a duck, and fucking like a duck. It looks like they're talking about kids and the most disgusting, vile, beyond
I think
the pale
the worst part about it is that, I mean, not just that, But the fact that they dumped all that on the public without giving any analysis or explanation of, okay, what was the FBI's analysis of that?
Yeah.
What did you guys come to what was your conclusion on what was going on here? Not just like release it with no context, where it's like, there's so much shit now floating around. It's impossible to know what's real 100%. And what's fake. And like now the conspiracies are blending in with reality and it's muddying the water even more. Fucking Duncan Trussell had a great tweet I saw this morning where it was Burchett talking about UFOs and like aliens and shit. He's like, we can't release it right now because if we did, the American public they wouldn't be ready. They would lose their grip on reality. And Duncan said, here it is. Duncan said, the whole people will go insane if they know the truth is the most inadvertently condescending excuse for not spilling the beans. At this point, you could reveal we live inside the asshole of a space fish, and most people would forget that in a few days. Spit it out. We want to come. Stop edging us.
All right.
That's true. He fucking nailed it.
He might be right about that. Let me play devil's advocate for a minute on this because now we're getting to a whole different level. But when you're talking about like aliens and shit like that, now it gets to religious dogma around the world, and it gets to can the information.
No, people will cope with that, bro.
They people will, but what percentage won't? There's something I think about a lot. Like you've recorded hundreds of these, you know what I'm talking about. There's sometimes where you'll be in the middle of a random conversation and a guest will say some lines that are, even if it doesn't stick with the people out there, you're in the room and you're like, ooh, whoa, all right, that's interesting. I remember my friend Alex Horowitz in episode 16 said to me, he said it way smarter than this, but this is a guy who was like employee number 4 at 8 Sleep. He saw the deep inner workings of like the VC world and high level tech. Brilliant guy, longtime friend of mine. And he was like, they can simulate these outcomes. Mm-hmm. And we're recording this in 2020. And he's like, they can simulate an impetus that you put on society and say, if we did this, what does the reaction look like? Because they have all of our emotional data from social media. At that point, they already did. They had enough. And maybe some of that was slightly exaggerated. I don't think it's exaggerated now in 2026 with 6 more years of data and way more AI as well. And so devil's advocate to Duncan Trussell, who I am inclined to agree with on this point, to be clear, and I want to know. Right? And I think we all deserve to know, by the way. But the devil's advocate is that they've simulated that and determined that there will be a mass existential crisis of religion, meaning, and God or whatever around the world.
That's what Hal Puthoff said. That's what Hal Puthoff said on Rogan.
And again, like he's a spooky person. He's someone working from the inner sanctums of government. Tim Burchett is someone who works in government. So you got to take it all with a grain of salt. But just because they're liars doesn't mean that once in a while they don't tell the truth. I'd say that about Steve Bannon too. It's your best guess and my best guess when they're actually telling the truth, because it's not that often.
Right.
So but people have just been exposed to so much noise and so much craziness that at this point we're desensitized to it. And we're talking about people eating kids on islands.
Yeah.
Maybe aliens aren't that bad to talk about now, because it's like, well, we dealt with that. And nothing fuck all has been done about it. All these No Kings protests. All right, fine. Can we get that same energy for like the fucking Epstein victims? Like, come on, man. And it's so frustrating. But I sit back all the time and I'm like, are we all just cattle? And by we, of course, including me, including you, all of us in it who aren't in those rooms. Just because we got a microphone doesn't make us any different. Are we all just cattle? Maybe. And also, what am I going to do about it? Not much. I'm doing a little part talking about it here.
I don't know, bro. But this has been fun.
Dude, it's great to be back. It's great to see you, like, you've been such a great psychiatrist for me. I was saying this on Matt Cox's show as well over the years, because like you understand it, you're in it every day just like I am, and have been an amazing friend, incredible support system. By the way, people don't see all the shit Danny Jones does without getting attention on it, but like it's meant a lot to me. You're someone who bet on me really early as well, and like to come in here, and I've seen where you're at, watching it from afar and talking to you every goddamn day, but like to come in here and see it and see your giant shed mansion with all the interiors and your probably $6,000 a month air conditioning bill that happens in here, I'm sure. You know, it's an amazing, amazing thing, man. And I've just always respected the fact that like you've done it all completely yourself since day one. Like self-made in everything you've ever done. And that is something, I know you're like a really humble guy and you don't ever say that, but like I talk to people about that all the time who don't know your backstory. I'm like, dude, Danny Jones is it.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. You have the best takes on all this stuff. You've been, I think the first day we talked, you asked me about Epstein. So first day. So like, it's pretty cool to see you going off on all this crazy Epstein stuff right now at the perfect time, exposing all of it. Like you're the de facto, you're my de facto source of news on the Epstein stuff. I'll put it that way.
All right, Ben. Remember that Boulder assault we talked about?
You're doing awesome, dude.
Thanks, bro.
Super psyched to have you back in here. We'll do it again.
Gotcha. Yeah, you got to come up and do mine.
Yeah, I will.
Let's go.
I'm afraid to get on a plane right now, to be honest, bro.
Don't travel. You know, like Tim Dillon says.
Yeah. We're in a war.
Where are you going?
If you want to travel, go to Syria.
And don't come back.
All right, bro. Thanks again.
All right, dog.
Good night, world.